Monday Night Fire Shrike. We last left off, the crew was in three different places doing three different things. They're all over the place. So I think what we'll do is we will start with Twinkle and his crew. So, Twinkle, you guys have made it to the Marixa Republic with one rather large scrape on the paint job. Um,
What?
uh,
Yes.
A long,
yeah,
thick
yeah,
chunk has been removed.
it's
Status report.
yeah,
I.
yeah. It was
Days
yeah. I
ago.
think
10 days ago, in fact.
I'm
yeah,
listening.
because it happened when you guys. Who are you asking a status report from?
I would probably turn to. Oh gosh. Currently the chief mate is.
That would be me.
Yeah. Um. Who's responsible for the paintwork damage on my ship?
All right, so Zafira walks out of one of the Yusakai tunnels right up next to you and goes like, "It was so bad. Uh Rulia had just taken her spot and was like, I got this. and then she rams it into the side of the runway, and we scrape off a big chunk. It's estimated to be about a 4-inch wide gash. That's the entire length of the ship, sir. Like, I'm
Is
so
Rulia on the
sorry.
bridge right now?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Um, Rulia. Actually,
Yes, Captain.
um, are we just what breaking in the new ship? Are we? What happened?
Well, I could give you the excuses you might expect to hear, something about new ship, new controls, bigger than I'm used to handling, or anything
We
like
just
that.
lost you.
Or I could just tell you it gives the ship character. Maybe you can tell people, oh, really? Am
All
I
right,
back? Where,
you're
what?
back. It just
Yeah,
dropped for a couple of seconds on my end.
okay.
Sorry.
She says, well, I could give you the usual excuses of new ship, bigger than I'm used to handling, da 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 da. You'd be expecting that. Or I could just tell you that it adds character and you can always tell people that was from our first battle and we kicked the shit out of somebody.
I highly doubt that, considering they'll be able to look at the vessel and see that the only weapon mounted on this is a light torpedo launcher. All I was really looking for is if it was an accident or if it was a christening.
Well, can we call it both?
Oh, so you're saying you accidentally took my baby and dunked it in the water for 10 seconds? No. No.
So, I. Rulia, I'm not going to be upset about this. It's not really a big deal on my end. But you know who is going to take it and run with it, right?
Yeah, well, Nurx has already sent me a whole lot of mails giving me shit about it.
And you know what?
Pretty sure that's going to be about the worst. I'm pretty sure that she's going to give me the worst of it.
That's exactly what I was expecting. I can see it now. I never, well, I never did this, or I never did that, or you may be taller than me, but at least I can fly a ship right. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much all Twinkle needs to know. And
Yeah, he
really,
was just like,
really easily could have been like, yeah, that was on purpose. I'm not flying a, I'm not flying a ship that hasn't been tested. We didn't
yeah,
suffer a
yeah.
hull breach, therefore it's fine.
Well, she's
It
a little
wasn't that
bit.
bad of a one.
Well, she's a little bit of a say la vie type personality sometimes. So she was like, well, you know,
And
"Hey,
yeah,
do you want me to implicate myself as a bad person or do you want me to like make a joke out of it? I'm just going to make a joke out of it.
no, and
Yeah.
for in his mind, Twinkle's like being terrorized by Nurks about, well, now that she has ammunition to use against you is entirely the appropriate punishment. Because Nurks is one of
uh,
those people who will just not let it go. Will not let
yeah.
it go. So, that's fine by Twinkle.
Yeah. And she's like, by the way, how's the stomach?
Don't want to talk about it. It's over now. Of course, let's see. I stepped on the scale today and, well, 62 is a little bit down from where I was. At least I'm not keeping any of the baby fat around.
She just kind of smirks. She's like, well, maybe you can't. I mean, if you're are you on the bridge or are you
Yeah,
communicating through
she's on the
comms?
bridge.
Okay, so yeah,
He's on the
she's
bridge,
like,
yeah.
she'd probably just smirk and go, and just be like, so Zand and the
Oh,
Doctor Bear guy, they went. They've already gone and done a little bit of legwork, I think.
oh, awesome. And
There
what
was
sort of.
this Dro Elf. There was this. There was this Dro Elf agent here who checked us through. You might want to ask them about him.
Oh, okay. What other trouble have they gotten up to lately?
All they did was go to the university, as far as I know.
Hmm.
The typical customs inspection. Joe said he was looking for spies.
Hmm. Drow have a name?
Special Agent Ristal Methel.
God. Special Agent Crystal Meth. Sorry. That's basically
Thank
what I
you.
heard.
Brilliant. That's
Uh,
brilliant.
I am currently taking notes on a envelope. All right.
And
And
I
did
will
Special
put
Agent
that in chat here.
Gotcha. And did Special Agent find any spies aboard our vessel?
Well, he didn't say he found any spies. But then again, he didn't say he didn't either.
Mm. All right. Are Oliver and Xander on board the vessel currently, or are they still out?
I think we went to dinner, or we're going to dinner. I'm not sure what time it is for us.
Right. I mean, you guys can, or you can either be at the ship or you could be at dinner. It just doesn't. It's up to you guys. Or you could be somewhere entirely else on the Marixa, on Marixa.
Oh, yeah, we could say like maybe. Oh wait, no, no, we didn't get a place to stay there, so we can stay like yeah, we were probably back on the ship for a bit.
Okay. Yeah, Twinkle will come and
Yeah.
find you guys. And well,
Who
probably
does he
just
find?
go ahead.
Who does he find first, and where do you find it? Where do they find you?
I'm thinking about it. I'd probably just shoot them both a message and ask to meet in the heck.
All right,
On the what?
that solves that.
The holographic entertainment center.
Oh, yep.
Nice.
Yeah, the wreck.
Like,
Right.
I hurry up and get there because I have a note for him.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Twinkle probably gets there. He's looking a little haggard.
Yeah.
All right. So, you two have been busy. I'm good. I'm glad. Good. We find
Okay,
anything?
So first, I hand you a little piece of paper with a name and a number on it, and it's the dean of the university. And then she wanted you to contact her when you got up and about, so that you can provide an update to her or whatever. But I'm waiting on her to let us in the library because it's apparently locked down, and she's the only one that can let us in the library.
Oh. All right. What's the name of the dean?
The name of the dean is Salson Phyllis. She's a elf. She's one of the forlorn elves.
Salzin, right? Or
One of
Sulf?
the elves.
Yeah. Okay.
It's. I'll put it in here. That way we. Uh, uh, there we go.
All right.
Okay, and I would also add to the information provided to you that the dean has invited me and Oliver out to dinner tonight.
Oh, lovely. Well, I'm not going to step on your toes unless I'm invited when I call. You two
Yeah, that's
have...
what I was thinking. If you call her and see what she says, she might invite you as well.
Ah, nice.
And don't forget, you guys also have the name that Vesa provided you of a person that works in business out here as well, Atomic Frickson,
yes.
who works for the Paperleaf Tea Trading Company.
Let's see. And what did we want with him again?
Well, you guys are trying to find information, and you're trying to find and right now they've pretty much, and you also like, and also it's not a bad idea to put a positive foot forward for Patella as well, because Thobus Greenfellow's law team is already here, and Thobus himself is probably either here or on his way, working on the sovereignty with the Merixa Republic. The expectation seems to be um, like the expectation that like the people of the Vescarium told you is that they figure that the Merixa Republic will recognize sovereignty but sanction just like the Pact Worlds did.
Okay.
Which, by the way, the Vescarium did recognize the sovereignty but did not sanction.
The what, Marixa?
No,
Oh, sorry.
Patella.
No, no,
Patella.
no.
Yeah,
The Vesker
Oh,
are
the
going to trade with
Vescarium.
us.
Okay, yep, I gotcha.
there was. Yeah, the Vescarium are willing to trade with you guys. The Pact Worlds are not. The expectation is that the Merixa Republic will also recognize sovereignty only to sanction, but it still doesn't hurt to put a positive foot forward.
Oh, sure.
You haven't committed the Fire Strike never committed any crimes in the Merixa Republic. They're mostly probably just following the Pact World's lead
Oh,
because
sure.
they want to be seen, on that level of sort of, yeah, see, we're influential. We're just like the Pact Worlds. So
Gotcha. All right. Laundry list of names here. What can you tell me about our special agent friend?
He's weird.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well,
Go
he's
on.
a special agent. He's a spy catcher. They're usually pretty weird in counter intel. Did they find anything interesting from us or drop any interesting tidbits?
You can take that one, Oliver.
I'm trying to remember. Um,
You guys really didn't get much out of him. You weren't
Yeah.
really trying for that. It was more you were dealing with the situation because you didn't have ulterior motives. That was why you got away with it.
yeah.
You, Xander, are legitimately on a science expedition, so you weren't lying. You just didn't tell him the extra stuff.
That's why. What did we get
Good
from him?
boy.
I don't know if we got anything other than
um,
no.
he
Oh, I
You
was
did badass.
talking about the whole. They found your drugs.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to address that.
they found, yeah.
It wasn't. It wasn't my drugs. It was literally a what's it called? What do I call it?
A used Voost inhaler.
Yeah, memories of a past that's forgotten.
It
It was a dark time for Oliver.
was a
Um,
dark time.
Yeah, probably just look at Oliver and say, Oliver, I know you're new here. This is honestly my first time being to Marixa as well. Let's just try and keep a good foot forward. Other than that, it is what
You
it
did
is.
find it.
Yes.
Go ahead.
One thing you guys did find out is sort of the laws here regarding weapons. They do not allow anything like heavy ordnance, any kind of long arms, any kind of rifles. You're allowed to carry like a sidearm, and maybe a knife or something, as long as it's not too big. They've learned not to let people wander around with weapons that have the
Of mass
capacity to.
destruction.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we don't want to have to escalate with our law enforcement and start providing them with that same kind of military grade weapon. So we're just not going to allow it in the city.
All right,
They're not
so
gonna-
go ahead.
yeah, they're not going to. If you want to try to sneak something, like they'll allow the kinds of weapons that are small enough that you could actually hide on your body. But
Right.
if you guys have any spy equipment, they would
Aw.
probably be looking for that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Well, I was
between
going to
Oliver.
ask, how likely would it be to sneak, say, I don't know, a sniper rifle made by Slef in cheek pouches, because that's where that rifle has been for a while.
Oh.
Wow.
Does it have the breakdown property?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the cheek pouches give you a bonus to checks like that.
Gotcha. But and so
Wait,
it probably
what's
asks,
your grip on that?
What's that?
Does it have a grip as well as being broke down?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure because, we do have some badass scripts.
Yeah, right, and essentially that was something where we didn't have the money to make it exactly the way we wanted to, so we just made the sniper
Mm.
rifle with the intent of upgrading it, and then Slef died. So
Eh,
yeah,
There's more
but
than one engineer. Yeah.
that'll probably stay behind on the ship. We don't have a good reason to need it yet. And generally, a sniper rifle is not something you're going to use without planning because it's unwieldy, it's big, not really good when for being ambushed. Um, but okay, so we have this. All right, he's just what look. He's creepy, but he's looking for spies. Why is he looking for spies?
well, he
Or
did say that they're.
spies?
I
Well,
think
they're. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think it's a societal thing, secrecy and all that.
Well, you're gonna find spies and ne'er do wells wherever you go. It's just me. All right. This Dean. Anything I need to know to make a good impression with her?
What was it?
I mean, well,
She's not. Uh, what is it? She's not really one for. No, that wasn't it. Don't waste her time. Wasn't I trying to remember what it was that she kind of like. She had a kind of personality to her.
I think essentially it's not so much like a personality thing as far as the time goes, as the fact that as the dean of a university, she's kind of busy. And I think that, and I don't, I think for the most part, like the personality thing with her was that when she realized that, like, but that you were learned like Xander, you guys started talking about talking shop,
Yeah.
like life science and medicine kind of stuff and what have you. You were talking about some theory or another. So, um,
Right. If real terrorists were as awesome as all our groups are, um, the rest of the world would actually have to worry.
right? These are terrorists who are masters of discipline like medicine, life science, computers, fucking everything, everything. You got somebody whose discipline is to be master of something.
Mm.
Most of them, multiple things.
Yeah. Well, like the Commodore is a master of, well, not a master of everything, but he knows everything. If he doesn't know it, the next time he can learn something, he'll learn that.
Let's see. Like graduating with a law degree. Let's see here.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
Yeah.
true.
okay, so quick and to the point, and Twinkle's probably writing all this out on a notepad of his, or typing it out. We don't write here in the 22nd and a half century. I mean,
Why would anybody have a clipboard? It's the future.
right? Hey, graphite gets sucked into exhaust fumes and does bad things. All right,
I,
I'm up.
yep,
She wants
there
an
you go.
up. Yeah, she wants updates on what exactly? What? I'm just supposed to confirm what you said that we're here on a scientific expedition.
I just thought she wanted to talk to the captain type thing.
Uh,
I already talked to
Someone
her,
definitely wanted to talk to the captain. It
waiting
was
to get to the library.
was it the agent?
Yeah, the agent wants to
The
speak to her.
agent, yeah, the agent wanted
Oh,
to speak to you as soon as you were able. The special agent Mistel Rev or Ristal Methil wanted to talk to you.
mm, oh boy, I'm not looking forward to that. Um.
I don't think the dean really necessarily wanted to. It was the agent.
Okay. Well, give her a call. Has anybody reached out to this atomic person?
That's
Oliver?
yeah.
Xander?
Like,
Uh,
no.
no, I just did the university thing.
No.
I totally forgot about it.
All right. Well, you guys are headed to dinner. Oh, actually, who on the ship would be good for this kind of person? Um,
What do you need them to do?
oh, just touch base, be elbow rubby, say, "Hey, we're in town. Um, we'd be willing to maybe do a favor or two in return for a favor or two."
Oh, well, I would suggest Twinkle for something like that.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of people to talk to already. That's the thing. Could make Mahala do it.
Oh,
You could, sir. I was just trying to offer it to someone, Technically, she's my NPC. I'm not supposed to love her the way I do.
um,
oh.
Well,
let's see. I guess if you two have,
But whatever you want, Captain.
let's see. I guess, hmm. Well, okay. So he's used to the bubbly type because he's rubbed elbows with Vesa. Hmm. We'll cross that bridge. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Anything else on the docket for today? Anything else I've missed? Special agent wants to talk to me. I'll touch base with the dean. You two have a dinner. I'm honestly not gonna try and invite myself to that if I don't have to, but it may come down to that, considering we're locked out of the library until otherwise noted.
We're waiting on the board to give us access approval to get to the library.
What's the hang up there?
She has to talk to the board and get permission to give at least me a couple of hours to peruse the
It's
book
under construction,
related
right?
to it. Yeah.
Yep, they're
Oh, okay.
they're undergoing a lot of renovations, so getting in there right now requires special permission.
Unless you say otherwise, Captain.
Uh,
Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge.
okay, actually, that leads me to my first thought. Um,
Also, how much of the actual library isn't already on computer is what I kind of want to know.
true.
Well, that's the thing. It's not that it's not part of it is like the reprogramming and like reorganizing of the computer databases. When it comes down to it, they're not just doing the external structure. Like something like this would absolutely be like a top to bottom kind of thing.
How many hackers are on the ship right now? I bet we could get this done in like 12 hours, sir.
Actually,
The
let's.
the database has been fixed and everything is where it should be. Can we see the library now?
Okay, actually, all right.
In a society of secrecy, is it really the best course to hack their systems?
Um,
I was just kidding, Doctor.
I mean, on our way out, sure. But while we
who
still have things
is
to do.
who's the ranking intelligence officer on this vessel besides Twinkle? Is it
Like,
just Twinkle?
you haven't actually given us any of those positions, sir. This is still a new ship. Who would you like to be in charge of intelligence?
Because what I'm thinking, Twinkle would probably explain. All right, so we've been told that this information is potentially here and can be useful to us. That means whoever is ahead of us has either thought of that and has been here already or is currently here. I'd like someone to figure out who is running the renovations and if they have any connection to, well, anybody
Anyone we
even
know?
remotely shady. Although, this is Marixa, who knows?
Let's see. She says,
And Twinkle, if you want, you can make a culture check here to see what you know about Murixa Republic. They made some culture checks last week, but I don't think anybody turned anything up.
Ooh, rolling
did
dice.
Zafira
my favorite.
actually make a culture check? Because her background is unknown. I don't
Oh.
remember.
I don't think she did, but I could be wrong.
I'm looking.
Oh, and actually, while I'm here, by the way, did kind of glancing, guests cause any trouble on the voyage over?
Actually, the guests are like Bezic and Isaki are actually probably waiting out in the hallway because
No.
They've been they
Okay, I
haven't
didn't know
caused any
that.
trouble. They haven't done they haven't caused any trouble. They've basically kind of been, there. Um, Rex Tolak, for his part, didn't you tell Twinkle before you left you were giving him Rex Tolak to watch them?
Yeah, Rex
Yes.
Tolak is
Yeah.
watching them, and that's the reason that Zafira is now the chief mate instead of the engineer.
Right.
Okay. And I rolled a 3.
I,
Mm.
I rolled a 23.
Well, you rolled a 4, so
Oh, and you rolled a
Well,
it's
3?
just not the night for
well,
us
I
to
think
know
the
anything.
20
Oh, nice.
actually, well, I mean, your culture checks are so high, you still wind up over 20 with both of them. So, um,
It
maybe
still
this is
doesn't make us happy.
well, I'm sure. But here's the thing.
I
So
could take
Marixa Republic.
20 and get a
Sorry.
37.
Well, here's the thing. What you know about the Marixa Republic is they started off pretty small and unassuming. They've had a lot of like economic growth in the last several decades. They've had a lot of like when the swarm came through the first time, they didn't have much to offer to help out. But they have managed to expand beyond their own solar system and have a few other colonies out there. I think they've got about 8 planets in total, if I remember correctly. They have like a representative government,
What's the
and they
predominant species here?
not really a predominant species because they get
Okay,
people. They were settlers from the Pact worlds originally, so it's pretty much a mix.
just checking.
Um,
Just checking.
Okay,
they've got
gotcha.
the they as far as it goes, the Marixa Republic thinks they're, pretty big shit. They think because of their more recent successes, they put themselves on the same par with the Pact Worlds and the Veskarium, despite having a fleet that is only a fraction of the size of either. Um, the Pact Worlds kinds of finds this pretentious. The Veskarium openly laughs at this idea that the Marixa Republic is
Have
anywhere
they
equal
gotten
to the
their like
Veskarium.
hands on some sort of ancient technology like pre-gap? So that's why they think they're badass?
No, it's because they actually have grown. They have a bigger fleet than they used to, and they're determined that their anti-swarm fleet, next time the swarm shows up, will play a bigger role than they did last time. Um, they mostly think they're
We
big
all
shit.
need Captain Fodder.
Well, they think they're big shit because they're like economic gains in the last several decades. They've really become
Hmm.
they they pretty much expanded fairly quickly once they hit,
Oh, okay.
once they
Mm.
got to a certain point.
Oh,
So
so
they
they're
think
really
Yeah.
not going to actually like us
if
because,
yeah,
yeah.
if you're thinking about, but because they put on airs, they tend to try to follow the lead of either the Pact Worlds or the Veskarium. In this case, the expectation is that they're going to follow the Pact Worlds lead. However, they have another problem entirely. There is another power about of around equal size in the area, and that's the Gitteron Authority, and they are hobgoblins and Oni, and they're authoritarian, and they dispute several systems that
Ah,
the Marixa Republic holds.
All
So
right.
there have been border skirmishes for quite some time. So there is the possibility that this spy thing has to do with that. um, you know,
Okay.
you also would know current enough information to know that agents of Ned Sadara have also been sort of like reaching out to the Marixa Republic, trying to establish negotiations.
Okay.
They haven't been terribly successful so far, but they have been trying.
We'll get to them in a second. All right. Um. hmm. So recapping, we've got a drow who is doing his thing. He wants me to talk to him. The dean wants me to talk to him. You guys have dinner. We should probably reach out to Atomic to see if he can give us a lay of the land. We're going to be very, very busy people. Is there anything I've missed? Oh,
Hmm.
I guess your guys' first trip to the university. Is that all you learned? Just we're going to need to petition, or if they're going to be petitioning the board in our stead?
I think that's about it. Yeah, so it's like, was there? Yeah, I think that's all we did. We were kind of dumb with our research, so
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
that's about all.
yeah.
Alright.
Well, I mean, you went to the first place you could think of that was going to be your most obvious lead if you
Yeah.
were looking. So you're, but yeah, you've got a bunch of things lined out in front of you.
Okay.
Because for Xander, he always goes to university first, to the libraries,
Oh yeah,
and that
you
type
guys
of stuff. That's
you
his
guys are
normal.
thinking like scientists, and why shouldn't you? You are. It's
Exactly.
Twinkle is yes, he has training in, the, engineering sciences, but really his bread and butter is information. So, uh yeah, the engineering and computer scientists. But all right. I guess I have some calls to make. I thank you very much, and if I'm invited, I will go. If I'm not invited, then you two enjoy your dinner. I'll work on Atomic then in that case. So,
It's
go ahead.
it's not atomic. It's just atomic.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was yeah, sorry. Okay, Atomic. Perfect. Yeah, I'll work on Atomic in that case. And so yeah, he's going to have a call to make, but he doesn't need to do it here. He can go somewhere private so Isaki and Bazik can do whatever they were going to do in here.
Well, they're more or less wait. They're the reason
Oh.
they're standing out there is they're waiting on Xander. They've
Oh, okay.
been trying to stick close to him.
Gotcha.
So,
All right, but yeah, you guys can do what you need to do. Twinkle's probably gonna get to his quarters and call the dean.
all right. So, I think you get like the dean's office first, and it's like Dean Phyllis's office. How may I help you?
Hello, this is Captain Twinkle Bailey. I had some members of my crew come to the university earlier today, and I was told to call the dean. Uh, Dean Salson.
Let me sit. Let me please hold, and she'll like put you on hold, and maybe like the music is just like you get like this sort of soft jazz music that goes on like for a few minutes, and eventually you get like an answer like back, and it's like, I'm sorry, Dean Salson is out for the evening. I believe she had a dinner date.
Hmm. All right, in that case, I will try later. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yep. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I could demand a personal number, but what's that gonna do? The secretary's just gonna say no and hang up. So,
Right.
and because Twinkle doesn't know what exactly she wanted to talk about, well, he can't feign it being important. That the secretary could just as easily know what's going on. So, yeah.
Right.
Um, is our agent friend on the docks or nearby?
Uh, Possibly.
Okay.
He. I mean, he left some hours ago, but I mean, he might still be around snooping around.
Oh, well, I fully expect to probably catch him snooping around somewhere, but I will let I will tell Oliver and Xander to enjoy their evening, and uh, yeah, probably just go for a walk on the docks to see if anybody pops up.
Well, you see, yeah, you see the normal ground crews, that are there like refueling and moving cargo in and out. See a few other captains for a few other ships. Um, you know, you see one ship. Looks like it looks like a ship that might have been built. It looks like a ship that might have been built by like orcs,
Hmm.
because it's got like that really heavy "don't fuck with me" design. And there's a couple of orcs standing out front, and there is a drow elf dressed in like black tack gear, and he's got a number. He's got a few other agents around him. About two or three agents, and then several like normal uniformed customs officials and whatnot. And they seem to be talking, and the orc just doesn't seem to be uh, you know terribly happy about it. Um, but to his credit, he didn't break into some kind of berserker rage. Um, but and reluctantly, it has to allow the team into his ship to look around and what have you.
Hmm. Um, yeah, if the whole crew is going in, I would probably actually step up to the orc and go, "They get you too, huh?"
It's like it's the one. It was the one shit deal thing about doing business in the Marixa Republic. Plenty of mercenary work around here, plenty. But
Hmm.
I'll be damned if you can go in if you can't get into port without going through a search every time. Like they expect suddenly one of your crew is going to turn into a spy since the last time you docked.
What is it with that, anyways? I'm new to Marixa. He probably jerks a thumb towards, back in a rough direction of the Tempest, maybe not directly to it. Just jerk a thumb. My crew had the same issues. Are they? What's the problem? Are they expecting someone from what, Gideon to show up or something?
No, I don't know. My best guess is it's got to do with the war. Either that or, well, you know what they say. You want to hunt down you want to hunt down one of them sneaky dro. You send a sneaky dro.
Hmm. Why would they want to look for the sneaky drow? Aren't they all on the same
Yeah,
side? At least it feels like it over here. I mean, it's really us ship captains versus them, isn't it?
well, I don't know. It depends on your affiliation. Every captain's got their affiliation.
No, sure.
It's like, speaking of which, and let me give you a description of this orc.
Sure.
He is a really large orc, and he's just got like this big fucking fuck off mohawk. And he's got like warrior tattoos all over. And he's got like like he's got piercings made of bone and whatnot. And but that's not to say that he's completely old school. He does have some he does have some like cybernetic tattoos and what have you, and obviously a few bits of enhancement. And he kind of looks down, cranks, and he looks down at you, and you can hear like the sinews of his muscle and the servos in his cybernetic gear, like as he kind of turns and looks at you, and he's like, "Who are you, and who are you with?"
Can I get an impression of who he works for by his ship? I'm basically. Is it safe to mention the word free captain around this person? Is what I'm looking for.
I think that would be a sense motive to see it more than anything.
Okay.
Looking at the ship, it probably looks like it could be just any kind. It could be a pirate ship. It could be a mercenary ship, like he said. It could be anything. But he did seem to indicate he was a nice. You get the sense that this guy probably has friends, but he's not wearing any obvious like markings that you recognize. He does have some markings. For example, his his cybernetic tattoo is um, is a broken gun and a broken gun and a broken sword.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
he's like,
Okay.
Culture check.
What? Am I able to roll to figure out to see if I know
I
what
think
those
this is
tattoos are?
I think that well, I think this group is new enough that you hadn't there. It's the chances are that you're not
Okay.
terribly likely to have heard of them yet.
No,
You
you're
might like
right.
unless the captain passed on information about like the stuff that that the ambassador was telling him.
Gotcha. Now,
I am pretty
remind.
upfront with all the people that are important, but specifically, we didn't do that in character.
Now,
Right.
Wouldn't I have had Quali send out a pamphlet about it at the very least?
so
Well,
go
I'm
ahead.
not sure if you had even shared it with Qualu yet. I mean, you can retroactively say you had shared it with Twinkle or Qualu because it makes sense that you would have.
Well, let's just say that we did the normal channels thing, which means Qualu found out about it and then wrote up a report and sent it to the appropriate people.
Okay.
So,
Right.
All
are
right,
we
so it's
going?
probably not thorough, so you might remember. I don't know.
So are we going with the standing policy of we introduce ourselves as, "Hi, we're one of Zai's bandits"?
No, absolutely not. You've already established
Well,
yourself on the. Well, I mean, you can.
I was gonna
But
say that you don't none of you have any record on Marixa Republic that you
okay,
know of at this point, and
now,
the
okay,
Fire Strike as general has not committed any crimes in the Marixa Republic because they've never actually been here before. They're going off the reputation you have with the Pact Worlds when it comes to their how they're going to deal with you diplomatically.
okay,
But it's not like they can just arrest you for crimes you haven't committed here.
okay. Now, as for saying we're part of the free captains, how well?
He doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would care if you're with the free
Okay,
captains. He seems like the kind of guy that, you know, because he mentioned mercenary work and the
okay.
casual way that he did it,
He may have
it
even dealt with free captains in
yeah,
the
he
past. Yeah.
he might have even dealt with the free captains. It's
Okay.
clear that his loyalties don't necessarily lie with this government, at least.
Right. He would, so Twinkle would, kind of look up, maybe step back so it's easier for each of us to see each other, and say,
Yeah.
"My name is Twinkle Bailey. I'm a free captain. From Akaton, but really just anywhere and everywhere. Right now we're here, science stuff. Don't really have a head for it myself, but that's what crew members are for, right?"
Yeah, he looks at you for a minute like he's kind of sizing you up, and then he reaches down and offers a hand. He says, "My name is Orgo Skull Smasher." And
I
he's
love
like,
that name. Go ahead.
yeah, he's like, says, "Been doing mercenary work around here recently.
Yeah,
Stop over for a refuel resupply."
yeah, puts out a hand, shakes. Well, has his hand engulfed by this person. Um, nods. Oh, gotcha. So, not here because you want to be, more because you have to be. I got it. Trust me. I
He's
know.
like, yeah, and he says, he kind of snorts and he spits in there. "Personally, I could give a shit less whether the Gitaron Authority and their Marixa Republic takes those systems, long as I come out a little bit richer. I got other things and the other irons in the fire, as it were." And
Here,
he
here.
says, and he kind of looks at you. He says, "So as for your question about the Dro, that's a difficult question. Far as I've heard, the Dro from the Pact Worlds, those that live on Apostate, they have their way of doing things. But these Nech Sidaran Dro that keep running around here," and he gets a real disgusted look on his face. He's like, "Them, they're a lot more traditional. At least the Dro on the Apostate have the decency to try to pretend they're not a bunch of slavers. These Netzadarans, they don't operate by the same rules we do. I don't
Mm.
know if he says could be. He says word has it they've been reaching out to the Marixa Republic. I don't give them a whole hope here. He says I don't give them a whole lot of hope. And that Dro right there searching my ship, my understanding is he's actually from Netsidara and ran away."
Okay. And they'll let him. They give him the authority to just search anyone's ship because why? Because he's good at what he does? Or.
Yeah, I would guess. He says, I would guess it's if you want to catch a sneak thief, you send a sneak thief. You want to catch a dro, you send a dro. If it were me, I'd be keeping a close eye on his reports, have somebody within his people reporting back. I'm sure they do, and I'm sure he knows it. If he's really from Netsadara, let's just say our people have had a run in with him. Place called Raffidin Station.
Hmm,
Yeah, that was a shit show right there.
really? Huh. Raffin
Lost a lot of
Station.
good men. They use a lot. They use a lot of the stations, traps, and stuff.
Can't
Used to
he.
own. Used to belong to Vatari Tech.
Oh, maybe that's why I haven't heard of it before. Okay. Huh.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
it was supposed to be some deep secret spec ops research facility. We were going to take the planets there. The Dro wanted the station and the planets. We couldn't abide by them taking the station. And well, kind of a bloody battle. Vatari Tech, of course, sent their own people, their own mercs in to gather information and destroy any evidence of what they were doing. But so there was that. Says outside of that, what few engagements we've had with them, yeah, they take prisoners all right, but you don't want to be taken prisoner by them.
Yeah, I understand that feeling. Well, with them more so than others, but yeah, yeah.
Of course,
Ugh.
some rumors say that they're trying to cut a deal with the Droan Apostae. Some say that they have their own splinter groups that are trying to form a deal with a bunch of forlorn elves. You hear things doing some merc work.
I absolutely understand that. Ugh, jeez. So, after your inspection's over, what's up for you and your crew?
Well, me, I gotta see if I can't meet some high muckety mucks. I
Oh,
got some
lovely.
stuff to discuss. Yeah, business for well, a number of for a number of interested parties. But I'd hope they'd send somebody with a little bit more tact at the dinner table than me, but looks like I got elected.
I know exactly how you feel, bud. I'm supposed to. I think. He kind of nods his head. I was sick when we got in, so I guess this guy wants to talk to me after he's done with your ship. So I got elected. Don't want to do it, but here I am.
He's like, he kind of nods. He kind of nods. He goes, "What's the name of your ship?"
Oh, and yeah, yeah, Twinkle's eyes do light up a little bit with that. Tempest. The Tempest.
Nice.
Yours?
Well, it's called the Spine Breaker.
Oh, I love
And
that. Go ahead.
yeah, he's like, and he kind of nods, and he's like, maybe I'll see you around. Maybe we'll have a beer before. Maybe we can have a beer before we both depart the world, the
Hey.
the the planet.
To happy circumstances. Absolutely. Just
Yeah, and
because
this is about.
Marix. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry,
Oh,
I don't want
yeah.
to interrupt
Just because Marix has got to suck, don't mean the people here got to, right?
you. He just kind of chuckles at that, and he goes, truer words,
Hmm.
truer words, and this is about the time that the special agent Meffel comes off the ship, and I want to cut over to and I want to cut back over to Shaba. Maybe we cut back over and Shaba. There's been progress, plenty of progress getting made. Um, Quevelin He seems to mostly just be working on whatever project he feels is necessary at this point. As for the rest of your crew, they're those who have the skills are working on whatever you need them to work on, for the most part. And I think there is a bit of like there's a few like Vesk that the High Despot has also sent to you to like give you a hand, and the repairs are almost complete. It's taken a lot of work, and everybody's had to pull double and triple shifts, and it's been, quite a bit going on. But you're finally just about ready to go. If you and I'm gonna As a mechanical note, I want to add that any special materials that you used when you were like doing your build out, like like Jezit or anything like that, you're going to actually probably have to stop and pick up at the Conqueror's Forge because they don't have it here. You
I
probably have.
didn't use any special material.
Okay, all right, but I didn't know if you did or not. I hadn't. I know the other two ships used some of that stuff. Um, but yeah, you're pretty much the point of fact is that you've got people that are trying to get your people are trying to get the drift. I think Whistlefizz is probably hooking up the drift drive right now, while Scramjet is probably calibrating like the flight controls and what have you. And I don't know who maybe who else do you have with you? You've got Tafa, Awali, and Squibble, and you've got Rex. You've got Nurse Jerktazal. You've got Rek. And you've got Loyalty. You've got Rek. You've got Loyalty Dash Zero. Rex is with the Tempest. Um, you've got Rex 17, and I think that's about it, right? Whistlefizz, Scramjet, Nurse
Sounds about right.
Jerktazal. Okay. And Glycil. That's who I was forgetting. I knew I was forgetting somebody.
Sorry
Um,
about that.
yeah, and I think probably there is a point where you guys are like getting ready to go and whatnot, and you're making your final like perusal of the place. And Dr. Owali probably approaches you and is like, and she's, you know, uh, Tafa and Squibble seem to be hanging in the background. She's like, "May I have a word with you, Captain Shaba?"
Sure, what you need.
It appears that at this point, that your business will probably be taking you outside of the Vescarium if you are to return to your compatriots. Am I correct?
That would be a correct assumption.
Then this is a conversation that must be had. We are we have decided that we are going to stay here on Vesk 7. Help the people of Forget try to pick up the pieces and perhaps get a contact with our compatriots after we have done so. Your work may lie elsewhere, but our work still lies here. It has been an honor serving with you. You are indeed a dangerous individual, as they have said.
Sure smiles at that.
Yeah, she's like, we will be gathering our stuff and heading back to Forget for a while, and we'll eventually catch a transport off world. I wish you good journeys, and to send our best wishes to your captain as well. And it was an honor to meet Qualu as well, if a bit of a dubious one. Some people consider him a hero, others a villain. I'm on the fence. It depends on the day.
Yeah, I could see that with Qualu. Though I
Yeah.
consider equal in combat.
And she's like, and she nods and she says, um, and she kind of stands at, gives you like a salute. And she's like, permission to disembark?
Granted.
Yeah, and she grabs her fellows and they move and they kind of like go ahead and leave. And I think maybe you get like the call up from from the engine room. Whistle is like, the drift drive is cycling through a diagnostic and it will be probably ready sometime after we hit orbit. Um, the thrusters should be online in a matter of, oh, I'd say 5 minutes. If we have any last minute business, it's Whistle Fizz.
Well, inform everybody on board. They got 10 minutes and then we're out of here. So wrap up whatever they need or get whatever they want.
All right. And I think that kind of is what everybody sort of does. Do you have anything last minute you need to do here?
She goes and makes sure Rex made a pot of coffee.
Priorities.
Oh yeah.
Priorities.
She's
Um,
she's trying to calm the shakes with the caffeine.
that's that's gonna work out well.
Oh yeah. Like, replace with drugs with caffeine. Yeah. What a
Yeah,
horrible time to be
and
straight.
I think right, you've been trapped without drugs for a while. But yeah, finally you get the all go ahead that you're good to go, and you're like everybody is start pretty much taking their stations and whatnot, is sort of waiting for the command.
Okay. Wow. She sort of just looks around like this is different. I'm just looking at my position. So I guess Wreck is in the main gunner station. Considering there's 5 on board this ship, supposedly. We're short some crew.
What's the minimum crew
20.
On a
for a destroyer?
Yeah, I think it's about 20. Let me
It's
just
been a
double check.
while, but I'm pretty sure. I got you. Rawr. Uh,
Well, this is awkward. My mic was pushed all the way in. I don't know how well you guys are hearing me.
you were great for a while.
Okay. Wait, is it worse now or something?
Minimum
No,
crew
you're fine.
6, max is
Oh,
20.
okay.
Oh,
Oh.
my bad.
What's the minimum is what?
6.
And you should have 6. So
Yeah, enough to get the ship going.
yeah, so you get it up and running and get it going. And you manage to you should have access to scramjet, so you or whoever else has access to scramjet, because I think somebody else did as well, can make that roll.
I have access to Scramjet. Oh yeah, that's me.
By all means, go for it.
And it is what check? Sorry.
Piloting.
Piloting.
Why would we want to roll that? Oh my god, Scramjet.
Hey, with what you rolled, you still got over 20.
Exactly.
But
Yeah,
but I
it's
did
hate
not take a
rolling
big chunk out of it.
threes. I hate rolling threes.
Not-
Okay.
It's not the prettiest takeoff, probably because it's been sitting around for a couple
Yeah.
of years.
Yeah, and
But we
3
got
is
her
the
in
magic
space.
number.
Yeah. It's that moment. Maybe there's that moment on ship where there's like the tension when you guys break atmo. Is the life support going to hold? Are the engines going to are the engines going to hold? Is is the gravity plating going to continue to work, or are we going to all be on floaty time? But you managed to make it into orbit, make it break atmosphere, make it up to orbit, sort of level and past easily enough. And where is Shaba headed from here?
So she's thinking they probably finished what they were doing and have gone on to other respective jobs. But knowing Zai, he left me a message somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's off the Broken Rock.
All right. I'm gonna take off to Broken Rock. All right.
Yep. And I
How
can also
long does it take him to
pick
get
up
there?
some more crew there.
You can indeed.
I want all 5 of my gunner stations filled. That way I can fire all around the ship.
Just need for
So
AI stuff.
it's gonna take about 5 days to get back to the Pact Worlds. You have you it takes you 5 days. You get back to the to. Is there anything special you do while you're in Drift? Is there anything special any of your NPCs need to be doing while
I
you're in Drift?
want them to make sure the systems are working within operational standards now that we're
All
actually
right.
up and flying. Um, who's the closest thing? Glycil's the doctor, right? Or
Oh,
is
he's a mystic and a doctor. Yes.
okay.
Well, that's just for
So I
maybe we
want
can
him to
fly
make sure
from
the
here.
med bay's up and running right.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And then I need Rec to make sure the combat training facilities are up and running.
All
And
right.
what we need to stock and the storage units around.
All right.
And we have
You
advanced combat
you
training.
have right. And do you have somebody doing like a stock inventory and what have you on ships?
Yeah, I'll have Whistlefizz do that when he's not
Okay.
needed engineering.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe we get like this montage of like your crew going about the duties that you've assigned them while in drift. The wreck, spending time testing the equipment in the combat training facility and putting it through its paces and checking, where making sure everything's at. Maybe Whistle Fizz in the engineering base, doing stuff down there, running diagnostics, and then also in the cargo bay, taking stock of everything, like writing, with a data pad, like, so there's this much, food here. There's this much this, there's this much space. This is what we got going on. Um, you know, and what have you. And you manage to come out of drift, and we see the new fire Shrike as the sort of rift purple pink energy, as you fly out of the drift dimension into the blackness of packed space. Um, and it's probably going to take you it's going to take you a few days now that you're in the packed worlds to get to Broken Rock, but you're looking at Octurne, that shithole of a planet where you guys got invaded and attacked at the same time. Um, First place you met Dr. Calidus Puel. And
Yay.
takes you another couple of days to get to Broken Rock. Um, when you get to Broken Rock, um, as usual, there's the normal the normal sort of like thing, going on and whatnot, like you identifying yourself in the whatever secret code the free captains have and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and you managed to land on closest thing to home turf outside of Patella, and sometimes even closer than that, Broken Rock. And maybe as you step out onto the docking plates and whatnot and look out, you see like the buildings across the way, before you, and you see a number of. You also see you also see a familiar face. you see one Captain Zeradin,
Jealous.
and there is a moment where, but Zeradin is flanked by his crew. He's got his crew with him, and you've heard of each of them individually to some respect and whatnot as being fairly competent. As being some of the most competent pirates and weapons dealers. Um, who do you have with you as you disembark? Who do you take with you on proper
Wreck and Scramjet.
wreck and scramjet? Okay, yeah. Scramjet feels super at home here because he was a space pirate before he even joined you guys. Um, Wreck has been here a couple times, so he's like, it never ceases to amaze me the fact that this place manages to stay so well hidden from the law, considering how many law enforcement agencies would love to know where this place is.
Yeah, that's why it's a good place to come to. I don't have to worry about those law agencies trying to get us.
He goes, I guess, and some might call this one of the few bastions of true freedom, but I know there's politics here. I've seen them.
There's politics ever.
And
But
I think Zeridan. Sorry, go ahead.
here, at least we can walk around and not have to worry about wearing weird disguises.
Right? And I think Zeridan kind of approaches and he's like, which by the way, you guys got the 50,000 credits for the Vesk 7 job. If I didn't pay you for it before, you officially get that now. The Veskarium pays you for your services there. Um,
Oh,
the,
good job.
50,000.
the
Nice.
yeah. And I think Zeridan, when he sees you, like when he like approaches, because he heard that you were coming. He goes, Captain. He goes, yeah, welcome, Captain Shaba. It's been a long, long time, hasn't it?
It's been a while. It almost feels like coming back home here.
And to get a physical description of Captain Zeridan for those who may not have seen or heard, that may not have seen Zeridan before, um, Captain Zeridan is a drow elf, and he shaved all of his head except for a top knot up on top. He typically wears an eye patch, and he generally is decked out for a dramatic effect. Not only is his armor and weapons functional, they also appear fairly stylish, um, as you would expect from one of the more notorious pirates and a member of the Free Captain's Pirate Council. Um, and he's like, I've been hearing a few rumors. There are ships with faster drift drives. Heard a little bit something about a little bit of a scuffle on Vesk 7.
And
Heard your people
what is it you heard?
heard your people put on quite the show dealing with the with one Dr. Dishborg.
She just gets that look on her face. Like, if I ever come across that little fucking radish, I'm gonna slit whatever it's called his throat.
It's like some people even tell me that there were a few other folks there that carry a bit of a reputation.
There were a few others. There were others that I don't know about, but let's say yes, it was interesting.
So, how is my dear sister?
Didn't run into her, but I got someone on board that, well, a couple on board that have. I could always get them.
You know, I might want to have a conversation with one or two of with them before you leave port.
We'll be here for a couple of days.
And they're like,
Final touches on board. I need some more crew.
crew? Ah, well, he says if you're looking for crew, I believe I have a couple of individuals for you that might suit you just fine. And he says, why don't we go have a drink at Bort's?
I'll buy.
He goes,
Sports, booze, and
you are
bitches located on
eh,
Broken Rock.
exactly. He's like, he says, he kind of winks at you. He says, I knew you had to have missed my charm, and he kind of chuckles at that, and he says, let's show these upstart captains how real captains drink, shall we?
I'll. It's been a while.
He,
Ah, Shaba,
he's
you're at a turning point. Are you going to buy drugs since you're on Broken Rock, or are you going to stay sober?
I'm figuring by the time she got the broken rock, she's gotten out of the shaky stage.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been
She,
days. It's
she's
been
pretty
7 days.
well has broken clean.
I'm surprised
Yeah.
you don't. She doesn't associate drugs with merch, considering that was his whole thing.
Oh no, the only thing we
Yeah.
associate with merch
Except for the
is pure adulterated murder against them.
Yeah, I was gonna say Shabo was doing drugs long before merch, so I think the
Oh
association with drugs is drugs,
yeah,
and maybe keepers of the secret.
merch is more. He blew up my fucking ship.
Yep, there's a
You and
and
Rulia should
Zared,
actually be really good friends after all this is over.
and he probably is like, so changed the design again. I understand that the cat that Commodore Vilvetto has taken charge of the Blue Ember and claimed it as his flagship. Congratulations on the promotion to running the Fire Shrike. It's a
Yeah,
name that holds a bit of history.
it does. I'm hoping the new one can keep up with that.
he kind of he kind of nods and he's like there's a and maybe it takes a little while for you guys to get to boards, but it's not too far from the docks. It would be close. And I think this time the body that you're stepping over is a Rhyphoran. So one of the Rhyphorans from people from Triaxis is like
Mhm.
Zeratin doesn't even miss a fucking beat. He just completely matching his pace without altering his stride at all. It's almost like he just walks over dead bodies frequently. And but yeah,
I
you get
don't
in
break
there.
the stride either, so it's like
He before but as you're walking in the door, he goes, "I'm pretty sure the first of my potential recruits for you will be obvious the moment that you walk in the door." And
okay. Look around.
as you walk through the door, there's the noise as usual of like a band playing. I think maybe this is I think the band here is like maybe a fusion blues industrial like comes off of Akaton.
It's a
Like
song.
it's a isekai. It's like maybe like the isekai from the Hive Market and maybe places around Akaton do a blues
Uh,
industrial music, and that's kind of what's playing. But
like
that's not
good,
what gathers
not
you.
isekai rap.
No, not this time. But it does. It is the music pales in comparison to the sight that you see in front of you. There is a big noir with sort of like with a big noir with white fur and like his four horns are all jeweled out with like golden caps and like design work and like jewelry on them and what have you, but and he looks just like he looks just like a unit. Give me a you don't have culture, do you?
Oh, yes, I do.
Give me a culture check. It takes you a minute, but almost the moment that you hear the name, you immediately recognize who it is. The uh, the noir who apparently is just finishing a chugging contest, who is just finishing a chugging contest, like so slams his mug down, and uh, and the vest that's on the other side of him finishes just a couple seconds after him. The two of them lock eyes for a second, and the lock eyes for a second, and then they immediately sit down and just like the quick like this massive like arm wrestling competition that like all these people are like throwing bets all around and whatnot, and there's clearly a strain on both of their faces, this massive vest and this mask of noir. For those of you who don't know, a noir is a minotaur in space, a space
Oh,
minotaur with two sets of horns instead of just one. um, and he's easily 7.5 feet tall. And that like with a bit of straining and grunting, eventually the noir wins, and somebody yells out, and this is about the time you recognize at the same time. It was like yells out, "The winner, Hafis Bavros!" And the winner declared. There are people that are like excited because they apparently won some money, and people grumbling because they lost. And there's a and You recognize the name Hafis Bavros is a gladiator. He is a fairly well-known gladiator, as a matter of fact. Um, he's kind of a big deal. Um, uh, with a fairly large, uh, following of fans. Um, Kind of interesting to see him in this setting. You wouldn't expect to see him just like hanging out on Broken Rock, but there is a. But Zatarn says, "Come, I'll introduce you," and kind of like, "Excuse me, pardon me," and people at first kind of like look like they don't want to move out of the way until they see who it is, and he kind of like they look at you and they look at Zeradin and they're like, "Oh shit, these guys are famous. Ooh, we're gonna get the fuck out of the way. These guys could potentially kill us." Um, and Zatarn,
A councilman is saying, please, I should move.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And he kind of like gets you over to like the end of the bar where Hafus is migrated to, and where he's kind of talking and telling some loud boisterous story about some tale of his from the arena. You think you might have actually seen the fight on TV, on pay-per-view or something. And he's like, and Zeradin kind of wanders up and says, he goes, "Hafus," and he goes, "A word?" And Havis kind of turns around and goes, "Ah!" He goes, "Yes, yeah." He goes, "Ah, it is." He goes, "It is my friend." He goes, and the rest of the people around like look very impressed. And he's like, he goes, "My friend Zeradin, what can I do for you?" And he's like, "This," he says, "an introduction and quite potentially a solution to your current monetary problems while you work things out with your agency. May I introduce to you the famed pirate captain Shabayan?" And he gestures towards you, and Hafis kind of leans forward and sticks out his hands, and he goes, "Hafis Bavros, at your service, gladiator, and well, apparently gun for hire." Mm.
I take his hand and shake it.
He he's he says, you say this captain may have some work for me?"
I have room on my ship. I'm looking for some good able-bodied men or women. Doesn't matter.
He, he says, ah, he says, well, if you're paying a good rate, then I am for, and let me get his, sheet up here so I can give you a description of what he's actually has for weaponry and stuff. There he is. Because he does have very obvious weapons that he carries and has on him. It's very clear what he is and what he can do, what kind of. Uh, but he's got like this big great axe. You've seen Rogo carrying one of these before. Um,
Okay.
it's an ultra thin great axe. He also carries a 15-notch plasma fork. And if that's not enough, every Noir has their horns if they lack anything else.
Yes. The horns will come in handy.
So he says, I have been trained in I have been trained in survival. I have been trained in. He says, I have been trained in in the ways of the gladiator since the days of my earliest youth. I was. He says, if you need heads bashed in, well, I'll be your man. And he says, but before we agree on anything, we must drink.
What are they drinking?
I think at this point it's probably a. Mm, it wouldn't be anything super special. Probably just some regular ale. Like they don't have anything like special in stock right now. Actually, they probably have something a little bit better for. No, they have regular ale because I don't think as much as Zeranin likes to be stylish, he doesn't put on airs with his booze. He probably has a nice bottle of wine tucked away somewhere for
Oh,
himself, but he'll drink the common shit with his guys. With the It's part of the reason people like him, and he'll drink with the boys,
uh,
so to speak.
big. It's me, the big Minotaur, and Zeradin right now at the table.
Mhm. Yep,
Okay.
and Zeradin said, "I believe you said you were buying."
Yes. And I wave over one of the waitresses.
Yeah,
3 glasses of your best, hardest scotch you got.
and she goes, and she nods, and she goes back to the bar. She'll be back in a few minutes, but she nods and takes her order and goes back. Um, at Hafis Robles says, "So tell me, as famous as you are as a pirate, I imagine you have plenty of people lining up to work with you. How
Uh,
did you find yourself on a shortage of recruits?"
New ship, bigger. Some people decided that they just needed to continue on what they were doing beforehand. It's so, yeah, so I just need some more crew.
He says,
Half ship full.
he's like, will there be, be plenty of excitement?
She looks it's like trying to contain laughter on that one. And she does a sideward glance to see what Zeradin's doing with that comment.
Zeradin's kind of chuckling to himself, but he's already breaking out a snuff pouch he's already breaking out a snuff pouch that he's opened up that has a relatively familiar purple powder in it.
For some reason, when Shaba sees that, her stomach starts turning.
he's uh, he takes a moment and kind of he takes a moment and he dumps a little bit on the table, and he kind of cuts out a line. Uh, and kind of cuts out a line, and he kind of pulls out like, and maybe this isn't the first time you've seen him use it, but like the tube that he uses is like this golden tube that's got like a bunch of shit on it that's got like cool intricate designs, and he just goes and he just from one side to the other pulls himself up a line, and he goes and he stop and goes to put it back up, and stops and he thinks about it, and he goes, "I'm sorry, I'm being a bit rude. You got the first round. Do you still partake?"
Zerdan, I've been clean for 3 weeks. When they blew up the fire strike, they blew up everything I had. It's kind of interesting to be able to think clearly for a change.
He goes, "Say no more. If you have but to ask, but you don't need to say anything more now." And he kind of tuffs it back into back into the pocket of his jacket and whatnot. And I think we'll kind of cut away as like uh Havis Bavros, who is pretty much the moment you like say anything about action, he's like, "That's all I need to hear," you know. Um, and we'll kind of cut out from you guys like telling stories back and forth. And that actually officially gives you the control of a new crew member. So let me change the permissions so you have control of Hafis Bavros and you can look at his stuff since you are his captain at this point. Do 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 do. And while I'm doing that, let's cut over real quick to the Blue Embers crew. You guys are on the Adar. Um, in the Adari, Vesa, you have found your new pet. Um, Ashira has, gone off to, go curio shopping by herself. Um,
I
Nurx
thought
is
we were
trying to find.
going together. Well, you're right.
Well, yeah, you guys
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah, I forgot.
yeah, you guys kind of like did you guys found the pig and whatnot. You walked around for a while, but Shira figured she had some other stuff she wanted to look at, and you were busy with your pig. Well, you were
I
big.
became
You were busy with.
completely enamored
Yeah,
of this fucking
you were busy.
thing.
You're sorry, swine.
Yes.
um, and you're kind of there on the Adari, which is sort of where the Kasathan world ship that they live on. Um, and from what you know of the Kasathan culture, uh, Zai is very, very different from a typical Kasathan. He does not do a lot of the traditional stuff. They do. So there's like this feeling of like rigid society here. They're friendly enough, but there is that they have like customs for everything. And like they under like you've noticed that the only Kasathan you has see anywhere around here that is not wearing their mask over the little bottom part of their face is Zai. And I'm not sure if even he's wearing it right now because he's going through like customary practices and stuff, customs himself stuff.
Zai's face is actually covered, but only because we're here for diplomacy reasons. It's
Yep,
not like I'm actually supposed to be in the packed worlds and not be arrested right now.
right, right. At the moment, you have diplomatic immunity, so
Mm. Also, the other reason that we've been practicing this long is because two of the unfulfilled have died, which means we have two more bodies to take to the computer.
yeah, true, yeah.
Well, brain samples, but either way.
Well, and I think there's definitely probably on your end, they probably ask for some sort of explanation or report.
Well,
Um,
yeah. And I'd probably have done that while we were in drift, in between making weapons and other things.
right. So it's probably something where you had to turn that in, and they probably had to have a debriefing and ask you about what happened.
I was
Um,
going to say that is the bonus of Zai's position when he was actually aboard the Adari. He does
right,
know most of the diplomatic ins and outs of courtesy. He just chooses not to do them outside of here.
right, and yeah, they find that you know they find that there is nothing you can do about portals opening up in your ship, and that was just something that was part of the dangers. Because and probably there were portals that opened up in other places too. It wasn't an isolated event.
Oh, good.
Um, so
Well, and
and you
also
probably
bad.
yeah, and you probably get that from a few people. You probably heard that when you were on the Conqueror's Forge, and you probably heard that like now that you've gotten to the Adari, you've probably heard a couple of stories and what have you. Um, of course, the Kasathans having a very strong military like mentality, they contained the situation fairly well here. Um, but they did cause some property damage. They also probably didn't have quite as dangerous of things like show up here as a bunch of demons. They probably didn't have a small demon invasion.
No, on the
um,
same note, they would have handled it better than we did.
yet. Well, they have an organized security force. Your security force, well organized, was a little bit more spread out.
Well, and after this, it'll be better.
Right.
That's the other thing we
the
do well. Improve after we lose.
But I think Zai, you probably have a break in like your rituals and stuff.
Hmm.
And your crew, like, and you haven't touched base with your crew in some time. You know, at least a few of them got off ship to go wandering around. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing depends on which crew member, and and it could go either way with Vesa. She, like she did almost get in trouble in the Vescarium.
Well, no. Yeah, I'll go ahead and call Vesa. Vesa to the bridge. Do, 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 do.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi. Wait, am I okay?
Hi.
Hi. Hi. Hello. Hello.
Welcome to
Hello.
Friday morning. You need to get up here and finish this shift because you gave someone a permission slip to leave early. And I have other things that I need to talk to you about. First of all, one of them being don't give permission slips to leave early unless someone else is covering the second half of the ship.
Oh.
Now,
Oh.
go ahead and get dressed because it's technically 3 a.m. by pack standard and get up here.
Hey. I'm not. I'm on the ship by this point, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you probably
Okay.
just passed out from your drinking binge after having shopped all day.
Oh no, I'm not drinking because I have a piglet. And when you called me, I was literally laying on the bed with this
Oh.
little pig up in the air, and I was singing to him, and I was talking to him, and I was moving his nose, and I'm not even shitting him, completely fucking enamored. Like, I'm just like, I wonder if I could put you in a bag and take you with me.
Um,
Oh,
I'm
right
gonna
now,
put you in a bag.
right
and
now
I'm
you
gonna
are small. It's small enough that there's an armor upgrade that we could do.
okay, Paris
Hell
Hilton.
yes. But for now,
Yes,
I'm gonna
Paris
literally
Hilton
stick.
and the I put my pet in a bag sense. Nothing else, Ashira.
Of course. Oh, yeah, of course. So I'm gonna like grab a satchel and I'm gonna stick them in there, and I'm gonna leave some snackies in there, and I'm gonna be like,
That's a good
okay,
idea.
yeah, be good, be good. I'll have already walked him and stuff or whatever, and maybe picked up after him. I don't know yet. And I'll just like go to the bridge.
Yeah, the first time your pet leaves a present on the floor, Bucket keeps coming up to you and going, "Remember to breathe. Pick up after yourselves."
No?
Bucket.
And he just drops it at your feet.
Oh no. Oh no. I'm on
Paris.
fucking I'm on
Yeah,
fucking cloud 9. I'm in trouble and it's fine.
by
You're
the
not
ti
actually in trouble. It's just, yeah, stuff that actually would have happened.
by the
Yes,
time by the time that you get up there, he's eaten all the snacks you put in the bag.
of
Mhm.
course. Of course he has. You guys
And
got any snacks?
Zai, when Vesa makes it her way to the bridge, she's carrying a satchel that is wriggling around and making grunting noises.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
Let's see.
Hi, what do you need me to do? Is this even something I can do? Am I qualified to do this?
Do
If
you know
you're
how to
in
run a
charge, am
computer?
I? Oh, well, that's a great question. And
Cool.
I
Now
bet you
sit
the
down and
answer
figure
is
it out
no.
either way. Meanwhile, let's see.
Fucking Porsche!
uh,
I didn't hear anything. Did you hear anything? I didn't hear anything. He's the best. He's the fucking best.
so I know what it is. I'm like, oh, I haven't seen one of those in this sector in forever.
Oh, yeah? What
Did
is
you
it?
take?
Because I just
Did you make a?
bought it.
Did you make a life sciences check to confirm
Oh, do you
that?
want me to make life science? I was using culture. There you go.
Culture? Life science would probably be
Either way,
appropriate.
I was above 20, and I'm actually really proud of that. I'm not that good at life science. I'm way better at the other science.
It has not shown up on my screen.
Oh,
It's
really?
not on mine.
I'm not seeing anything.
Hang
I thought
on.
that my shit was messed up. So.
I
It
saw the
says my
culture check.
connection was interrupted. Oh, and now it says I don't have internet.
Oh no, my internet's being weird.
No, remember we unplugged the computer. It was bound to
Yeah,
happen.
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Um,
So anyway, it'll be up in just a second because I'm going to
Okay.
go ahead and log in through my Kindle.
Well,
oh,
Vicky's gonna just be like
Sorry,
scrounging for
everyone that's
snacks too.
listening and or watching at home. Technical difficulties.
It's okay.
Well, I'm super sad. Both of those were above 20.
oh,
Yeah, it's still
we
only
got it.
showing Shaba's on mine. All right, let's
There
see.
we are.
I'm going back to Zai. Oh, I can't get to Zai because it's on here. Fuck. Wait, nope, let me do it. All right, and you said life science.
Yep.
Ooh.
Okay, that's good
That
enough.
was
You
better than the 24 I rolled on the actual computer, so.
you see it
I'm
poke
gonna.
its head out of you see it poke its head out of the satchel. So
Yeah,
you
I'm gonna.
know what it is now. You're like,
Oh,
hey,
I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna shove it in Zai's face and go, look at this super cute pig I just picked up. Look at how cute he is. Don't you just love him? Don't you just want to fall
All
in
right,
love with him? Do you want to pet him? Do you want to hug him? Look at
I
him.
take it from her and I say, all right, cool. This is mine until the end of this guy's shift that you're covering.
Wow.
I
You
know
see-
how to
I
feed
pull out
him
my gun.
and take care of him. That's fine. Go ahead. Pull out your gun. I have 4 arms. I can keep this pig in front of all my vital spots that you would try and shoot.
I want to point
Why are you
out
pointing a gun at Pork Chop? Put the gun down. You're pointing it at Pork Chop.
this is all Amy's
Give
plan
me.
to become captain.
Why
uh,
are you
All right.
like this?
Only
I
the
was
first
just
one
trying
counts.
to be nice.
Vesa, there are
Yeah.
consequences to your action. Welcome
But
to being a lieutenant. Now, it's not like I'm going to keep this pick forever, and I realize you've been up all day, but consequences. I can take care of Pork Chop. Everything's okay.
okay, listen, he likes to eat at least 17 times a day. And he
I,
likes lots of snacks and he likes to be scratched behind his ears. And
you
also
know, the
his
reason
poops are
he's been
really
having
smelly.
horrible gas is because you're feeding him people food, right?
I don't know what to feed him. What do you feed him? He's a pig. I figured he just ate what everybody else ate.
He can,
You feed
but
him
he's going to
people,
have. Yeah, well,
not
no.
people food. People.
Actually, he is an omnivore, but he does prefer a higher like vegetable base. Like you could feed him BLTs, just leave off the B.
Oh God. Well, if it's not the same species, surely it'd be okay. But
Yeah,
Oh,
they
okay.
no, no.
Pigs will eat pigs. They aren't picky.
Yeah, they're not. If it's
honestly,
vegetable
Shut up!
based,
Shut up!
I think he likes. I think he probably likes nuts and stuff too.
well, that's still
Okay.
technically part of.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you say pigs have a
There are
predilection
space
for
apples.
pigging out?
Ah.
That was bad. I'll go back to my
Oh.
corner.
Don't go back to your
Yeah,
corner. I love you.
corner with you.
So
That's
By the way, who are you playing on my ship right now, Twinkle?
I wasn't aware I was.
Well, I assumed you had an NPC you had control of that's on the ship. So,
Right.
I
like,
don't have one
Shaba
on my
right now
list
is
currently.
also Lady Sonnet. Okay, well, you should pick someone that doesn't already have someone.
Who's
Oh, weird.
who's
Who doesn't
over?
have internet?
You. All right.
Is
Yeah.
Kolnak available?
Kolnak, yeah.
Yes, I'm Kolnak now.
Yeah. Just got to do the dwarven accent and remember he's not racist towards anybody, and that's
And
and he's a minor.
he's not
He
bot.
actually really isn't. He actually took the special the character operations manual to switch out for the that allows him to be friendly to people rather than have bonuses to hitting people. Rather than bonuses to racism, he has bonuses to being nice to people.
What do you take me for? A racist dwarf? I've never met one. Well, that's a lie.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
a
yeah,
miner.
Never been one.
a lie.
He has a background in mining too, so although he doesn't really use it a lot, he hasn't had to. But yeah, so it is a
So I'm gonna.
censorship.
Oh, sorry.
It is a computer thing. It is a reading deal. And I think Zai said he didn't. Basically, was just giving the subtext. He didn't even care if you could do the job. You have to stay here until the shift is done.
Yeah. How
Like,
long's the shift, Cap?
Long enough that you should be annoyed.
I
I was
am
saying,
already
oh,
annoyed. So is it over
Good,
now?
and guess what? I
so
made the coffee, and I'm not great at it.
so
Uh,
you know who will bring you a cup of coffee? Plu. In fact, Plu
a couple.
probably yeah. In fact, Plu, because Ashira's not around to do anything, and he's kind of been helping in her department. Like maybe he's on shift, but he wasn't on the bridge when you came up here, and he comes back up, and he's got like a cup of coffee, and he looks around, and he goes, "Oh," he goes, "Well, I guess this is for you then," and he puts it down in front of you, and he's like, he kind of goes back over to his station, and I don't know if he even knows what he's doing on computers or not. But he
Thank
goes and
you.
sits
Thank
down.
you.
He as a matter of fact, he goes down and sits down closest to the computer that's closest to wherever Ashira's office is, and just takes up resident. Like he's been acting as sort of her personal assistant, so he takes up space closest to where her office is. Like,
Oh. What have you been up to?
well, he's just trying to be helpful. And so far, the only one who's really consistently given him tasks to do that didn't sound like consistently given him a lot of tasks to do is Ashira, because while you can give him busy work and he'll do it, Ashira just has a lot of shit she doesn't want to do herself. It's just like
I love that.
he's just like
Flu is a great guy.
there's a lot of shit.
Mhm.
Yeah, he
In fact,
so
we're
that's
going
where
to give
Blue has
all the
been most helpful.
NPC Skittermanders a 10% raise for just being so good at what they do.
Hey,
I love it.
In fact,
that's
Ashira, while
wonderful.
you're
You're
or Ashira, not
all
Ashira.
three of them.
In fact, Besa, while you're out, when we get to Broken Rock, you should see if there's any Skittermanders that need jobs there
Oh,
as well. And
I'm here
eventually,
for
when you
it.
become a captain, I foresee a Skittermander ship with a Captain Besa.
I'm excited. Do I have to kill anybody to get there? I'm just kidding.
No, we just need to become more
Wow.
experienced so we can get another ship soon.
Vase and
Okay.
it just seems
But
like
we all have to become experienced. Otherwise, if you kill off a bunch of people, we'll have to get rid of a ship.
I was gonna say,
Right. I'll be
Not getting rid
good.
of my ship.
you
No,
better
I
be.
wouldn't actually kill you guys. Not on purpose.
Let's get one thing straight. Twinkle probably actually wouldn't be able to kill you. So you're safe there.
he could suppress you with the
Okay.
fire suppression system.
Oh, that I would do all day
Honestly-
for free.
Well, the Vesa is the same is an envoy of the same level of Xander, so and you beat Xander, so
Barely.
I don't know.
And Xander isn't exactly built for
Combat, though.
combat.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say she's more combat than Xander is.
Well,
Eh,
kind of. I don't know. I was just kind of. I don't know.
well, you can do the get him and give yourself a buff. He doesn't have get him, so
Yeah.
you have
So-
that one. You have a slight advantage there, I guess.
Yeah. So I guess I'm just gonna like do this work, and it's gonna be so mopey. Oh my god! It is like he took my fucking toy,
All right.
and I'm just like
All right. So the
typing
best part
furiously
is
or clicking.
while you are working, every time you look at Zai, who's chilling in the captain's chair, he's got pork chop with 2 hands, just petting with one, and then he's still doing like 3 things at once because he's talking and using the computer with his other 2 hands because he's got 4 and he can do that.
Yeah.
He's just
At one point,
Who's
she's
got a
just gonna
ball?
like.
Who's got a ball? Pork chop's got a new ball. Go fetch.
Come
he's
to
just
mom.
yeah. If you
Pork chop does
release
not
pork
come to
chop,
mom.
pork chop doesn't know any tricks. He doesn't come to anybody. He'll kind of
No.
mostly snuffle around and because nobody here has the appropriate feats.
Except
So
for Plu.
if you except for Plu, yeah, Plu could potentially like make him do stuff, but Plu is busy like I don't know what he's probably actually doing. He thinks he's doing something important.
All right.
Does he
3
have
hours later, I hand back pork chop and I'm like, all right, this is what happens when you let people off and don't get it covered. Remember this for next
Okay.
time. If you're giving people time off, get someone to cover the part that they're not here. Otherwise, it will be your job. And I don't want to do this either because honestly, pork chop's not like the kind of pet I would want. Here you go.
Are you gonna tell him how many you
Thank
gave
you.
out already?
No, actually, at this point, I know because after this happened, I asked Plu, and Plu was like, "Oh yeah, there's a bunch of them out."
Be prepared. You're gonna be covering a lot of ships.
Oh no. I'm
No,
gonna go
now
and
she has
find.
time to get the rest of the shifts covered.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. 'Cause I want to play with my new pet, and
Let
I'm
me
gonna
get a
go up
couple
to
of-
Pluto.
Let me get some diplomacy checks here to see if you can find people to cover these extra shifts.
Okay, I can
Because
do
it's actually gonna take you like convincing people to cover the shifts because they give
that.
me
There's one.
a couple more,
Okay.
and if you have that,
Okay.
and if,
That one was like,
and if
fuck
you
yeah,
have
I'll
that
do it
moment-
for you. Okay.
and if you have that expertise dice, you can roll those as well.
Oh shit, I do. Let me.
Yeah.
Can I roll those all together?
Sure, go for it.
So is it /R or R/?
/R.
R, so it's 3d6. So I don't know,
Alright, so
33
that
turn
means
into a 37, 41,
41, 47,
and then
do a
39.
39.
Anything else?
No, I think you got it, and I think maybe Zai. I don't know how much attention you're paying to this. If you're paying a lot of attention, any attention to it, you will figure out that Vesa very quite succinctly handles the people in terms of getting everything covered. Like she just she was able to convince a lot of people to cover shifts because she let a lot of people off. Um,
Well,
it's like
I know her skill set, but she
yep.
had to. This is where Zai had to look at the teenager who's been, partying for way too long and go, "Hi, welcome to the first day of you pay for your mistakes."
Welcome to the
I've
first day
I
of
never
took
you
had to
pay.
away
do
I
that
took away her
before.
toy and made her fix it. And after this, she should know
Yeah,
better.
invasive for your part. Like your style is definitely very different from your father's, but maybe you learned a few things from him. Because he may be an evil bastard, but he knew, and he liked to use intimidation a lot, but he also knew how to use diplomacy when he needed to get things done. Maybe you picked up some of the finer points on that without realizing it,
Mm.
and like maybe it's something you're kind
Actually,
of
I
like
bet if she
realizing as
means
you're
to
going
be,
about
she's
your
scary.
business. Well,
I've never had to be
I
scary before.
it just
Mm.
depends. Well, it's how many ranks do you have in it? Intimidate, essentially.
Oh,
Um,
let's see. Um, one.
72.
one,
Uh,
One.
yeah.
respect. Hey,
Maybe you always
man,
disagreed. Yeah, maybe you always disagreed with your father's tactics. You learned just a little bit of it, but you learned a lot more from the times where you actually, had to play ball with people. And maybe this is something you're sort of realizing as you're like walking around the ship and making calls and talking to people and convincing people to get in and do cover these shifts and what have you. Um, although on the other side of this, it means there are a couple of people that are going to probably that are probably expecting some overtime
mm.
I
or,
mean, okay.
or promotions or something.
Well, that is not my department. I have recently found out. And if you would like to speak with someone, I highly suggest that you speak with someone in HR. But thank you so
You
much for doing this for me.
stop.
Am I HR?
You are the recruiter. So
Oh,
you are part of HR. You can
do I
promote
get
them.
do I get to give
You
raises
can't
too then?
promote them directly, but you can put in your 2 cents, so to speak.
Okay. So I'll mention that. I'll be like, you know what? Thank you so much for coming in and doing this. I know you didn't want to, and it's your day off and whatnot, and I really appreciate you. And I'll definitely put a good word in for you, okay?
Yeah, this will look really good on your record.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
appreciate you so
And I
much. Let me get you
suppose we
some
can have
coffee.
some ensigns first class. But yeah, as far as it goes, now you know that you shouldn't just give away parts of ships. This is
Well,
something
now
that
I
you'd
know.
have to learn if you had been a regular member of a space crew before this. And I had to
Yeah.
get used to some of this myself. I apologize for being so mean about it, but it needed done. And I think you're a better person for it now.
Um, thank you. Can I go now? Can I go now?
Uh, let's see. So I've done all my stuff on the Adari that we need to actually do
For this
for
week,
now. Yeah.
because there was
So wait. So
and
go ahead.
maybe I was gonna say, um, if you guys don't have anything else, I want to cut back over to Oliver and Xander. Great.
Well, no, and that's great. I just wanted to make sure that we were actually going to leave here soon and head to Broken Rock. Not because I know anything's going on, but that was always part of my plan.
Right, right. And class skills are counted as trained if you put a rank in them.
Oh, okay. Because I just realized since I got that personal upgrade thing,
Mhm.
I got 22 more skill ranks, and I'm like, oh shit,
Isn't it awesome?
I
Yep.
I need I can put stuff into diplomacy, but I kind of don't want to.
You don't have to.
I like
Whatever
that
makes you
Oliver.
happy.
Oliver's diplomacy is roar at it or ignore it.
Or you could,
No.
or you could put it all in bluff and just be the
Oh,
most
it's already in
deceitful
bluff.
bear. The most
Mm.
deceitful bear ever.
It's in bluff already.
Gonna need
Don't trust
somebody
that
to
bear over
take.
there. He's a liar.
Gonna need
Silly
somebody
old
to
Pooh
take over
Bear.
the intelligence division.
Right?
Can't always have the captain going to talk to people and, plumbing them for information. Although that'd be funny.
Although I could put it into athletics, so I don't have a turn,
Learn,
rehab of trying to swim.
yeah. All of a sudden, Oliver Byrne has learned how to swim, and he's just like, "We need to go to Castrovel. There's a river I need to swim across."
I mean, we could go
uh,
to Castroville. There's a guy I gotta talk to.
um, yeah, Castrovel is where Oliver Byrne lost a battle with a river. So,
Oh, I'm so sorry. I got kicked out.
the but let's cut back over to Xander and here. So maybe your maybe your dinner with maybe your dinner goes pretty well with the dean. Um, and it's pretty much like conversation and and that sort of stuff. Um, as far as it goes, you're finding that there's a they do she does invite you to a formal a formal party, like it's um, a benefit for miners on Techic 3, what have you. That is that's gonna have it's supposed to be like sort of a you know a party with like a lot of important people and what have you.
Okay.
And her she put the formal invitation out because she was like to you because, well, Xander's your status with the university, like, and some of the research you've brought them. Um, and Oliver, you've sort of impressed her as being intelligent and well learned. So, she assumes that because you guys are well learned and whatnot, that you'd probably, there'd be people that might be interested in like your like maybe like Oliver, your theories on medical practices, and Xander, like you're a scholar, so you're a master of knowing a lot of stuff. So there's probably a number of people that are just, oh, there's this there are these representatives from the council parliament that are going to be there. There's going to be other scientists, there's going to be industry leaders, that sort of thing, captains of industry. So there is a bit of a deal there. But as you are coming back uh, the from your dinner and what have you, I think you, Xander, actually both you and Oliver, give me a perception roll here.
Perception. Where? There. Where? There it is.
Ooh, well, you're both on top of it. Um, Oliver, this means this is sort of out of context for you, but you do notice it. And we'll start with you first because it's unfamiliar to you. Move to Xander. There is a rather large Vesk walking behind you, but you're a biohacker. So it's not a Vesk. It's an android. It's an android made to look like a Vesk that seems to be following you. They're about a
um,
block away.
Android as in
Xander,
the thinking androids, or like a robot
yes,
android.
as in thinking android.
Oh,
As
I could
as
sense them the whole time. I didn't need
you
perception.
know, the and Xander, you realize that the uh, the android Vesk behind you is Agent Tourmaline from the Android Abolitionist Front.
Yeah, I just mentally just talk to Xander because I can do that because I'm a telepath, and I'm just like, I hope you know we are being followed by an android Vesk.
Yeah, I know. Hold that thought. I turn around and say hi to him
Okay.
and activate the
Are you,
tattoo if I need to.
are you gonna walk back to them, or are you going to wait for them to catch up to you to say hi? Or are you just
I'm
gonna
gonna
holler?
turn around and look at him and wait for them to come to me.
Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. And there is a. I need to jot a couple of things down here real quick before I forget them. All right. So the android approaches you, or you, and when you when they get close, when you get close, they get close, and you're kind of stopped. They kind of like look around, make sure no one is around, and then you and just kind of stare for a minute, and then look over at Oliver,
If I need to,
and then look
make sure
back to
I
you,
activate the tattoo thing that they gave me.
and they nod, but they look back at Oliver and look at you again. You want to give me a sense motive here,
Yeah, what I'm good at. Oh, I only rolled a 6.
Xander?
Oof.
So I think you both kind of pick up on the fact that he basically is sort of like he keeps looking at Oliver and back to you because he wants to talk to you, Xander. But he does he yeah, they obviously don't trust Oliver.
All right, so I'm gonna look over at Oliver and be like,
No, he just you
I
just
have
hear in
heard
your head.
so
He goes, "Oh, all right. I know when I'm not wanted," and just turns and starts walking towards the ship.
well, that worked better than I was
Care-
thinking. What's
He
that, man?
doesn't care enough.
And the tourmaline waits for you to get a few paces and is like, I'm glad you made it here. It's like the code of definition is in trouble. Says the the line of the digital the line of the Digisol Bastion. The Digisol Bastion has been the has been looking at has been sworn to defend it for aeons. They betrayed it aeons ago. They betrayed this aeons ago. Although there are some that are still true, although there are still some that are true to to the programming and oath to the purpose we were once given, there are many that seek. Well, there are many that have been gone dark. Says you must find the definition, and you must. It says it's like you must find the definition, but you will need the help of the Digisol Bastions.
Are they
This is all
here?
I can give you. No, or at least not that I know of. I've been searching for agents, but have not been able to find any. Their fate is tied up with the definition itself. She was like, she's like, Follow the trail long enough, and perhaps you'll run into one. But if you seek them out, you might find aid, or at the very least, you might find those who have turned and be able to save them.
Yeah. I mean, finding the information correctly and to utilize it in its original format would be optimal to do. And if they could help, then yes, I would utilize that. If they are here to hinder the progress, then yes, we do need to alter their path.
Be careful who you can trust, who you trust. The line, the loyalty line was corrupted a long time ago. To my knowledge, who's like, there is legend that there was but one that retained their original purpose. And he says, "This is all I can give you for. I will make contact again when I have more. Perhaps we and next time let's." He's like, and remember, discretion is our most valuable ally.
Yeah, that's something else I need to look into. Yeah, we can get it all worked out.
And it was like, yeah, and with that, uh, Agent Tourmaline like pulls back, walks backwards a little bit, and sort of like turns and walks the other way, and quickly loses himself in the city.
Yeah, go
Oliver,
right back to the ship.
Yes.
there's something else that might have been on your mind when you turned around to walk away. You have probably been aware sometime that that Isaki and Bazik have been shadowing you guys for. It's something that you're not entire. It's something that you've kind of noticed that the Vesks sort of follow Xander and they have words to say about this and whatnot. And maybe like you I don't know if maybe you walk by them, walk like up to them, or if you just sort of like don't, walk by without saying much of anything.
If like, are they openly following us, or were they trying to like not openly follow us as much? And has it
They
been since
were and has it been since what?
since we left the ship?
Yes, it has been since you left the ship, and they aren't exactly being super discreet about it, but they're also not being super obvious. They seem to be they seem to be overriding caution with curiosity. From what you can tell, they have a vested interest in whatever Xander is studying.
Okay. Yeah. I probably just like walk by them and give them a barely nod and just gentlemen.
Yeah,
Keep going.
Bazik. Yeah, Bazik flexes as you pass because you're a bear, you're big, and he does that thing where he's a Vescan, he's big, and he's a like um he's also a gladiator. So yeah. But yeah, you kind of pass by, make a note of it, and you're probably aware that Bazik has like been looking at you in that way, like that. Ooh, you look like you're tough. I want to fight you.
It's just a lot of cushion,
He doesn't know that.
and he doesn't need to know that.
There you go. And I think yeah, you're kind of like working your way back and what have you. Um, maybe like you probably like come across. Um, well, no, we'll save that for that for later. Um, but you get back to the ship fairly easily, and it kind of getting back on board. Like, Rulia is still just sort of like hanging out. Um, she hasn't been given leave to take leave.
Wait,
Um,
who?
er, Rulia, she hasn't asked to take leave yet, so she's probably in her room just doing her thing.
Is Rulia the
Actually, she's actually
She's the
super
pilot.
Yep,
okay.
she's the Ifrit pilot. Um,
Yeah, I don't see any reason why she wouldn't why she wouldn't, be allowed to if she asked.
yeah, I think it
We're
probably
not. Yeah, we're
hadn't.
not going
Yeah,
anywhere fast.
yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I think she has just hadn't thought to ask yet. Maybe she probably does at some point. Um, but you're finding that you kind of have like Xander's not back at yet. It won't be back for a little while. Isaki and Bazik likely will be on his heels. Rulia is here. Rek is Twinkle is out um, right at the moment. Um, but is there anything specific you need to do while you're here? Any kind of crafting or any sort of like? Do you need a scene with any of the NPCs?
Not that I
Do you
can think
run
of.
medical check
Uh,
on anybody?
he probably will study everyone's current medical data, like everything in the system for them, just to say like, okay, this
Right.
this is a good baseline of what they are, so I can monitor them. Uh, and it's probably gonna just be in his lab for well, his room for a lot of it, messing on his lab. Because I don't really know if I need to talk to the NPCs right now. He'll probably send a little notification to Twinkle Bailey about
Mm-hmm.
the gala we were invited to, and probably extend the offer. Like, do you want to be our plus one kind of thing? Like, because you'll know the most about who
Yeah.
we should talk to.
It would really just depend. Was a plus one, did they say anything about a plus one? Is that okay with them? He doesn't want to step on your guys' toes, especially if you're doing good work already.
Well, I
But
I'd say probably. I'd say they'd probably. You guys made a good enough impression on the dean last time that the dean would probably be cool with you bringing him because of course you'd want to know who your captain is, who you're flying with right now, Xander. I mean, she's got a vested interest. You guys like some of you've shared research with them before. They have a you have a academic relationship with them, so um, she she probably trusts you guys quite enough to be like, yeah, if you're whoever your captain is, if you're flying with them, they must be okay, kind of situation.
Okay, yeah, because definitely I think that's what I thought is she would want to meet our captain at some point, and what better point to
Right.
do a nice, fine, fancy
Twinkle's not a fan of
fundraiser.
fancy events. That's why he's doing all of this.
Exactly.
He's trying to get out of it.
Exactly.
You guys are doing great work. It's fine. Don't no. I don't need to be. I'm not your babysitter. You guys got this.
I love Twinkle's management style here. He's just like,
You get
that's
you get a
great.
response that's just like, you do know I have the social tact of a literal bear.
Hey, don't be
You'll get
so
better.
hard on yourself.
But I think your conversation with Ristal here, like he gets done with his inspection of Captain Orgo Skull Smasher's ship, and Orgo just kind of grunts and just like, told you you weren't gonna find anything. And it's like, And Agent Meffel is like, "Got to do my job, due diligence." And he kind of looks at you and he's like, "May I help you,
Yes, my name
Twinkle?"
is. What's that? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, my name is Captain Twinkle Bailey. I unfortunately was indisposed when you searched our ship for the first time or greeted us as we landed, but I was told that you wanted to speak with me. It's a special agent Ristel Meffel, correct?
correct. And he offers a hand to shake.
Oh yeah, Twinkle shakes it.
He says, he's like, he says, "I'm sorry if I ruffled few feathers earlier, but it's standard procedure. There's rumors that we could go to war any day, and, well, let's just say I'd prefer to avoid any unannounced visits from the people from my own people.
Uh,
This is, we
excuse
have
me.
reason to
Go ahead.
believe,
Yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
we have reason to believe that there are a lot of spies coming in and out of the Marixa Republic of late. Not just the, not just my people, not just the Gitaron Authority, but a lot of corporate spies too. People who may have a lot more intelligence gathering equipment and personnel than they like to let on.
Mm,
There's a bit of a difference between researching your competition and outright spy work.
I would agree with that. And I hope your inspection turned up that we are what we say we are.
There was a small problem with a Voost inhaler that we
Uh,
found.
yes, I did heard, and the crew member in question has been disciplined. Um,
No, I haven't.
hey, you, shut up. If you want me to discipline you, I can. I can take away your pet pig. I mean, what?
What?
Sorry, wrong character. Uh,
Burn.
Any
Oh,
of us can away the pet pig.
no, but yeah, that crew member has been spoken to, and I assure you, something like that will not happen again.
he's like, he goes, well, this is your crew, and just a couple of questions. Your crew said you were here research.
All I caught was research. What was just before that? Sorry.
Sorry, he says, and just to confirm, your crew says you were scientific research.
Okay, I think I got it that time. For whatever reason, your mic does not want me to know what you're saying, but you said something about
Fine.
scientific research. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yes, that is correct. As a matter of fact, I believe my crew members have just returned from the university.
Well, so what manner of scientific research are you interested in, if I may ask? I mean, the Sun to University is an excellent university. Their sages, their professors probably know as much as any Pact World's professor.
All right. So, out of character, we are here because this place has information on the sifter, correct? We believe or
You
we know.
you are here because Xander uncovered evidence that the sifter that there was information possibly on the sifter in the Marixa Republic. You've heard about the name of the planet Sansorgus thrown around a bunch, um, which is
Okay.
apparently technically within the Marixa Republic. But they're but you don't know anything specific about what kind of clues you might find here or
Okay.
what have you.
Yeah, probably would say, well, actually, we were hoping to visit the library, get the lay of the land a little bit. Unfortunately, it turns out that it is under renovation. We we're not expecting that, but we plan to be here a little bit. We can wait.
Excellent. Well, be careful who you do business with. There are not everybody is exactly not everybody is exactly who they seem. And he says, I might have further questions for you as I go along. I do have a one minor thing.
Ask
If
away.
I'm not mistaken, the name Twinkle Bailey has come up before.
Hmm. In what
I
capacity,
believe.
might I add? This is my first time in the Republic.
Well, just because we're trying to ferret out spies ourselves, don't know doesn't mean we don't have a decent intelligence network. I understand that you were on Nocturne a while back with a very particular crew of some disrepute.
Hmm. Kind of, motioning his face, brushing the non-existent beard on his face. Octurne. Well, can I make a sense motive check with this? I'm just
Yes, you
like,
can.
all right, how dangerous of a question is this?
So
Honesty has been the best policy with these people so far.
It has been. I'm just
you
curious.
here's the thing, Twinkle.
Hmm?
You're a bit more savvy in the department than Xander and Oliver, and you pick up on something that neither of them picked up on. This guy is a guy who is he's so easy to read, you realize very quickly it's a front. And what's more, getting at what his true goals or motivations is seems like it might be a bit of a dig. Um, you he's definitely he's definitely questions, partly because it's his job and partly because his job is a perfect excuse for him to ask questions.
Hmm.
Um, he is a very curious individual, and for what reason, you know, it seems to go a little bit beyond just professional interest. Um,
Right.
and he's mentioned being careful who you do business with on more than one occasion, and he
Of
mentioned it
course.
to the Oliver and Xander as well. So there is at this point, as near as you can tell, it could be that he's he's worried about who you might do business with in sense of making somebody else more dangerous,
Sure.
or them making you more dangerous, or you know um, or it could be that he just simply likes to listen. He simply likes to, you know, keep track of sort of famous peoples, but you get the feeling that there's a little bit more going on. And he's actually, as a person, harder to pin down.
Sure.
It's, it's, it's easy to see that he's friendly yet professional for a reason. What
Right.
that reason is harder to get at.
Well, and yeah, and so Twinkle would probably give a bit of a non-answer, kind of. I've been quite a few places in the past. Oh gosh, has it been over a year now? I've seen lots of places, been to lots of things. Um,
Uh,
you
For
mentioned,
example, above Patella,
you know,
in a rather large scale starship combat.
hmm, I'm not familiar. Well, okay, actually, no. He would probably he would be honest here, but I think it's time that I think it's time that we started pushing in the other direction. So,
Mhm.
um, well, I'm trying to. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. Well, it was called Planet Xi then, but I see what you're shooting at. As for business, is there anyone I should be avoiding? My crew and I here are, like I said, are for purely research purposes. So if we need to stay away from some people here in town, I would love to know who they are.
He smiles and he smiles and he says, "Well, it all depends upon who you ask. If you ask around about very and who you're asking about. Take for example, the Paper Leaf Tea Trading Company. Most people will tell you that if you ask most people, they're a fine, upstanding company. Tea traders with a long history of entrepreneurship and hard work, taking the financially responsible path to earning profit rather than taking high risk and high reward. But if you read some of the other magazines and articles, like say the like hit like say the ones you can find at the night at the newsstands, at the info stands, data stands over there, you might find a completely different story. And he, points to a data to like a stand that's got like several like electronic magazine like advertisements and whatnot on there.
Hmm.
It says there have been a few articles written on various companies. I see. I think that they've got a few over there that seem to have the inside track on a few of them.
Lovely.
But you know, perhaps I put too much stock in such things. But I've found you can find a few kernels of truth in there every now and again.
Well, I've always heard this. You delete the adjectives and the verbs, and usually what's left are the nouns.
Something of that measure. And he kind of smiles and he says, and if you see any kind of suspicious activity, people poking around where they shouldn't, asking too many questions, you'll let me know, won't you?
Well, of course. After all, sorry. After all, we're here to keep everyone safe, aren't we? It's all of our jobs to keep each other safe.
And he says, and of course. And he says, fine ship you have, by the way. Very nice.
Well,
I do appreciate the civilian features and pretty extensive sensor equipment you have. I
well,
was
that's.
very impressed.
I'm
Give me a
glad.
sense motive there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty sure that he was directly referencing your sensor because you do have like the those excellent sensors. On one hand, it's an innocuous enough compliment. Your sensors are pretty impressive, but for a guy looking for spies to make a comment on
Yeah.
your sensor equipment,
Yeah,
he's
he's warning us.
yeah, he's given you a definitive warning about like how you utilize your sensor.
Of course. And, yeah, to which Twinkle would probably nod and go, Well, emphasis has been placed on the vessel for scientific and other research purposes. The sensors specifically are designed to handle, first and foremost, geography, handling, stuff of that design, kind of just techno babbling his way through. Um,
Right.
Other than that, they just like any other part of any other ship.
It was like, well, any other ship doesn't necessarily have quite as extensive a suite. It's quite impressive.
Hmm.
If you may, I will bid you a good evening. I am sure you have a great deal to do.
Hmm. And you as
And
well.
I,
Go ahead.
right?
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, do you check out the e-magazine stand he was talking about? How
First, I'd
works away?
depends. Is if Orgo is still nearby, would
Right.
probably watch, until he walks off, making sure he's out of sight, turning to Orgo and goes, "Ugh, ugh, my skin crawls every time I talk to people like that. Hate it."
Well, by this point, Orgo has, gone on about his
Yeah,
business.
maybe. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
you
he's
mean,
just turning back and talking to himself, and
right.
would go and take a look at those magazines.
And wherever you are all at and whatever you are doing, I am going, and maybe like this shot is like a split screen of all of your sort of like wherever you're at doing whatever you are. There is a news bulletin that comes across there is a news bulletin that comes across for each of you. And it's slightly different in tenor. For those of you in the Marixa Republic, it starts off with, in other news today, several systems have been deemed off limits for anything but military purposes until they for have been deemed off limit to civilian travel and civilian vessels until further notice. The tensions in these systems have heated up with the Gitteran Authority, and the council is will be voting next week on a measure whether to go to war. Until this time, and and those of you in the pack world, just like in other news, in the Marixa Republic, starts off with. But the result is that you all end up getting this message because whatever TV, whatever like information like TV or like digital display that you guys are near puts this up. There's kind of breaking news everywhere. um, Xander, you recognize one of the systems in question as being the system that planet Sansorgus is in. The one that you keep hearing coming up is one of the systems that's being sort of closed off to civilian traffic. Um, and maybe we get the reaction shot from all of you. Um, I don't know how vested those of you who aren't in the Marixa Republic right now would be necessarily, but you would all be aware that it would likely, there's a chance it could hinder Xander and Twinkle and them's investigation. Xander, directly it's going to hinder you. It could hinder your investigation. Um,
Well,
so maybe.
his mentality is at this point, I still have research to do here.
Mhm.
Hopefully, that ban is lifted by the time I get my research done. If not, we'll go down a different avenue.
Oh, we've got a fast ship. Let's just not do any blockade running, okay?
Well, Twinkle, Xander, you guys probably have the biggest reaction out of this, and um, I think that's pretty much what we have for tonight. It's right at 11:20. Um, I don't know. So if you guys will send me your Players' Choice Awards, and we'll get started on sign-offs. Um, and let's start with Xander.
Sorry, had to swip over to my long page of everything I'm in. My bad. Okay, so I played Xander, and I'm doing massive amounts of research and going to parties and meeting lots of people so that I can have a lot more information and people to tack on later to get more information. Yeah, I'm just an information gathering person. We're going to a party, meet a lot of people, get information from them. Yeah, that's good. Xander's happy. He wants to go to this party and meet a lot of high end people. Okay, other games. Tuesday, I'm in Ulster Bridge. Ulster Bridge? Something like that. I don't know. I play Isabella. So she got a job on a farm, and she's the social, talkative person of the group. So we'll see how farm work goes tomorrow. Yay. Then on Wednesday, I play Knight and Hinch to Minch, which apparently we're going to a space station. Yay. Hopefully, we can just blow the whole thing up and say, forget everybody and go back home. And then we can keep the power going on Earth so I can continue having my shorts. But I don't know what's going to go on. We'll see. And then Thursday, I'm in Fast Car Clear Gyms where I played Mikey, where we attempted to rob a jewelry store. We did do it, but it didn't go according to the original plan. But hey, it's the job still got done, so hey, that's all that matters. Okay, and then on Friday, I'm in Ballad of the Menagerie, where I play Chess, who is also on the Marix Republic. And she's trying to convince some dude to go in business with overlord, crime lord dude. So we're working on that. Yeah. And then every other Saturday, which I have no idea. It's a ways off, I guess. A couple weeks. I don't know. Bitter Ends, the Apocalypse Waterworld thingy, where I play Castiel, who's the dad of the group, because we won't let little kids go stop off at their house when we're trying to get somewhere. And other people get stabbed. And then I have to heal them. Really? Stop getting stabbed. Okay. Then on Sundays, I'm in Cosmos, where I play Fagara, who's a ranger with a really large bear. And his dinner got interrupted. He got pulled into this world. Now he's in a room full of a bunch of different portals. And he's like, okay. Hey, there's food here. Who cares? Maybe I can get a forest room so I can go hang out in that. And that's back to Monday. I guess that's everything then.
Alrighty. I need your player's choice still, and I still need the captain's Commodore's player's choice as well. And we'll move on to. Let's go to Oliver.
What up? I'm Sassy McNasty 69 or Oliver. Yeah, I play Oliver, the bear, a literal bear, who's a biohacker and a biotechnician. And we kind of skipped over it, but the scene of them at dinner party was just so great because you missed it. So imagine Oliver trying to use a fork and a knife, and he's just like, I have these big ass nails.
Right. Well, the occasional person staring.
Yeah. But it was great, and now we're invited to a fancy gala. You know, for a bear, he sure is moving up in the world. We're gonna gentrify Chicago next. All right. Beyond
Oh,
that, beyond that, you can catch me on Wednesdays in Hinch to Minch as Shadowhound. Yeah, I said it right. Okay, good. The superpowered assassin for hire. Who? Yeah, we gotta go to space. Well, yeah, we're going to space. I think we're already up there, aren't we? No, we're about to go up. We're literally like right on that point. We got put onto the little shuttles. We're going to our respective areas. We were in a little meeting room on the final shuttle, and Acer was just like, "You should tell us everything." The guy told us everything. He was like, "Wait, why did I tell him everything?" And then he got pulled away totally, and now he's been offloaded on the plane. We totally, yeah, that's what I'm going with. And then yeah, beyond that, you can catch me every other Saturday for The Bitter Ends as Eot, the wild child, who oh man, he's that poor child. He has a really mean dad. Everyone, you should donate some barter for him. His dad's being
No.
mean. Oh.
No.
And then past that, you can catch me on every Sunday for Tales from the Cosmos as a multitude of characters. Too many to go into now, but it's great. You should watch because so much shit's going down, and we've now have our home base called the Silver Spire, and it's great. You should totally watch. And then next week I will not be here. I think it's next week. Is that the yeah? That no wait. Calendar help. No, sorry. 2 weeks from now. Never mind. We got plenty of time. 2 weeks from now I won't be here. And yeah, that's everything.
All right. Let's go to Vesa.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Vesa. Tonight I had to do fucking grunt work because my boss got mad at me, and truly, it felt like PTSD because that's real life sometimes. And I was like, no, this is fine. I'll just do it. Sorry about you. I got to play with Pork Chop. That was wonderful. And also still do grunt work with it, which it's fine. I get it. I totally get it. Like the player gets it. The character is like, what? Yeah. So I am also in Bitter Ends on every other Saturday. I play Starlight Fingertoes. She is a mechanic who picks up things with her toes. And I am in Cosmos on Sunday, where I play two characters. I am either the elf Duskwalker, Stella Nightshade, who has a super hot girlfriend, literally and figuratively. Yes, I used that right. And I'm also Leto, the orc barbarian. She doesn't talk a lot, but she's a big tank and I like it a lot. And that's me.
Alrighty. Let's go with Captain Twinkle. You want to go next?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cyrus Smith, and today you caught me playing Captain Twinkle, who's on his own for the first time. And, well, you win some conversations, you lose some conversations. I wouldn't have liked to give as much as I did to our special agent friend, but I think I got maybe one or two interesting things out of him. He doesn't like the Paper Leaf Tea Trading Company, so that's who we're going to go talk to. In addition to, well, I guess we're gonna have to test the engines out on the new girl at some point. So something tells me unless we make Herculean efforts to convince, a council that has no reason to listen to us to somehow, lift that ban before long. Yep, we're going to do some blockade running, which is fine. Just don't expect us to look in terms of like Mad Max, we have an M16 and a can of NOS. That's pretty much the whole car. Yeah, so. Oh well. You can also find me on. Oh, let's see. Well, Wednesday. Yeah, superheroes, super villains. Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna blow up the space station. Just we have to get our people off first, and by our people, I mean the people we've handpicked to, that we want to get off. The serial killer that bends everyone at 90 degrees, he can stay. The lady that can, like, screw with your bones like Magneto does to Wolverine, oh yeah, she's coming along. Did I say like Wolverine does to Magneto? I meant the other way around.
Magneto to Wolverine. You had it right.
You said it right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. You'll have to excuse my cough. You can also find me on Thursday, where Hey, Xander, the job went off without a hitch. I don't know what you're talking about. The fact that a security guard ended up between a car and a hard place has no bearing on the actual result of that mission. And so
That
what? We
Has no
forgot to
bearing
get what's his
whatsoever.
face out of the trunk and we burned him alive. Who cares?
So what that you didn't arrange the bodies to look like anyone was actually driving those vehicles and they were all in the trunk.
You know, I was going to say something, but Mike was on a roll, so I let it slide. Which turned out to be the exact wrong thing to do. But hey, we're building this house of cards one piece at a time. So, yeah. You can also find me on Sundays where I'm running Tales from the Cosmos, where apparently Daniel has just decided for the whole group that this place is going to be named the Silver Spire. Personally, I think
I
that's
thought
cool.
it was.
I
But
thought that's yeah.
I thought it was that.
well, the place itself is called the Palace of the Silver Princess,
Oh.
or the Silver Palace.
Well, yeah. I
Ooh.
guess I just named it.
So,
Whoopsie.
yeah, the Silver Palace, in folklore referred to as Palace of the Silver Princess. Yeah, what else? No, that brings us back to Monday. So that's pretty much it.
Alrighty. Brian, you ready to go next?
Yeah, sure. Anyway, I'm Brian. I played Shaba Young tonight, the captain of the Fire Shrike, and is now at Broken Rock, picking up, hopefully, a bunch of new crew, which would be great. I can man the bridge properly, which would also be great because then I could fire all my weapons off in a turn, depending which way I'm facing. Besides that, Tuesday I run also bridge, where our intrepid 2 farmers will be out in the farm fields this week, but they'll find out just how dangerous that can be. Yeah, it should be interesting. And on Sundays in Cosmos, currently I'm playing Vrokalana, a cobalt witch with an attitude and a walking cauldron, which is kind of fun.
Mine flies. It's better. Haha.
Oh, mine's natural magic item. So there.
Oh, I have a
Mine
thing
has a
that breathes that I keep forgetting about.
Mine's a personality. Not much of one, but he has one.
That's fine. I have a horny
Oh
lizard.
my god. Oh my
God.
god.
He does have a horny
It's a
lizard.
pissing contest for cauldrons, which is gross.
I'm surprised you haven't mentioned your literal flaming hot girlfriend.
She is so fucking hot, you guys.
Uh-huh. Yeah. We'll see.
Literally, that bitch burned my face.
Anyway, that's it for me.
All right. Commodore.
Hi. Today I played Commodore's Eye, and well, I had to teach someone that there are responsibilities that they're obligated to do if they make decisions that affect the crew. And they may have gotten a little bit mad about that, but I think they're a better person for it. And now she knows that I also love pork chops, so she should forgive me eventually.
We went
On
and
top
drank
of that,
after.
yeah, that's true. And on top of that, sometimes I play in the bitter ends as Lemmy Pop Stardust. Hey, I'm getting there. Let me pop Stardust, the last rock star in the apocalypse who spent the whole last session just surfing and drinking beer because he doesn't have to work for a living. Everybody else, and that's pretty fun in itself. Uh, Normally I would say on to Purple Codex, but instead I'll go. My friends Purple Codex and Armageddon both have T Publics, and they have cool stuff. You should check it out. It's pretty awesome. It's super awesome. In fact, it's so awesome.
Didn't even. It,
Oh,
Wait.
okay. Let's try
yeah,
that.
I
Oh,
was gonna say I don't think
sorry.
anybody has
I thought you
anything
cut out. Uh,
No, I think everybody. I don't think anybody had any
I was
No.
going.
gonna.
I was like,
Well, normally Twinkle is prepared, so I
Well,
assumed he'd take over.
I was waiting for you to finish your sentence. I figured it was another mic drop.
Nope, it was not.
Oh,
And
okay.
now on to Twinkle Bailey, who will finish this commercial.
Well,
Well, not
actually,
as
it's
Twinkle.
not. It's not Twinkle. It's me, the other sound alike of Twinkle. My name's Aaron, and you're watching Paradise Theater. I'm usually stuck in an apothecary, taking care of, well, let's see, hurt people, injured people, and everyone else in Bastion that is currently on fire because Brunton's a mess. Oh my god, Brunton's a mess. And I'm not gonna blame the crew for that, but that's okay. I'm here to tell you about something much more important. I'm having an add-on put on the inside of my shop. It's a merch store. Yep, you heard right. From now on, I will be carrying Amy Geddon and Purple Codex merchandise, fresh from T Public. I've been told that there are no ethics, which is right up my alley. I don't really care. And they're fucking epic. So yeah, come buy them from me or preferably Amy or Codex or just buy their shit. And I think that's it.
all right. And I believe that brings it back around to me. First things first, bookkeeping out of the way. Everybody gets 1,000 experience points for the session. And tonight's Player's Choice Award was a split decision between. It's a tie between Shaba and Zai.
Oh,
So
nice.
you give yourselves 300 extra XP.
Thanks, guys.
And with that said, with that said, I am the Just a King Zerat. You catch me here on Monday nights for Fire Shrike, my favorite group of space pirates, space terrorists, and never do wells. You can catch me here at least for a little while longer on Osol Bridge as Yorick, who is very shy and not terribly self-confident. You can also catch me here for Fast Cars Clear Gyms, where, yes, that whole goddamn thing may have looked like it did, like the plan didn't go off, but that's why you make a plan. You make a plan so that it can go awry, so the backup plan has a chance to work. That's right. We almost got caught up by, and we almost got caught up. We had a gal tell us, "Aha, I know you're going to try to frame us, so we're going to frame you." And then by the end of it, we framed her anyway. Um, and we got away with the gems, and we framed other people, and we probably could have done a better job of disposing of the bodies, the trucks, and the other assorted things that were with those that were supposed to be burned up and look like an accident. But oh well, I guess we'll deal with that later when we have to deal with the federal investigator. We also found that our own boss is working against us, so fuck him, and we're going to have to work against his other teams and steal from them instead of the places we're supposed to steal from. Um, then you can also catch me here on Fridays for the Ballad of the. All points lead to Marixa Republic, and all points lead to the fact that holy jeebus, some of these new factions that are popping up are starting to become a lot more important for reasons that I will not currently disclose. Um, and there is there's also the bitter ends, that crazy apocalypse world thing where the world flooded and the Rocky Road, then the Rocky Mountains are now the Rocky Road Islands, because that's all that's left is the tops of them and some oil rig and some giant mutated squids. And I swear to Christ, when I actually wrote out the blurb and everything for these characters, when I did the entry in our now showing, oh my god, I realized how incredibly mismatched and insane these characters are. Um, so don't tune in for any plot line I might have. Just tune in to see what kind of crazy train wreck these characters get up to, because there are times where I'm simply reacting to whatever they're doing because they're just out there.
Oh, there will be a train wreck, all right, because Eod ate the tracks.
He could too. He could. He literally could. Um, but with that said, I think I'll do a little bit of social media here. If you are watching on YouTube and you want to see us live, want Uncle Bob to change and spoil the ending for you, see us on Twitch at Paradise Theater with an underscore between each word. If you are looking to catch that replay and it's dropped off of Twitch and you're like, oh my God, I got to go back. I got to relive that moment where Captain Zai took Vase's pig away. And I gotta relive that moment where Oliver Byrne, you know, realized that people that were following them weren't, as clever as they might have otherwise wanted to be. You can catch us also on YouTube at Paradise Theater. Um, if you are looking for some scheduling updates, because you want to know when things are going on and you can't be, and you're not close enough to it, maybe you don't want to go to the Twitch page right now, but maybe you're tweeting something awesome and crazy, and you can just go to our Twitter. And, maybe you want some other things there. Maybe you want some opinions and some community interaction. You want to find out our personal opinions and the favorite color, you know, find out what Twinkle Bailey's favorite color is from, the guy who plays him, you know, or you want to find out like what shoe size I wear. I probably won't divulge that information, but somebody else here might actually happen to know and divulge it for me. You can, or if you're just looking for some memes of some sort of temperature,
Like hot, they're hot
Me.
means.
those kind, you can catch us at Pear Theater on Twitter. With that said, I believe that is all that we've got for tonight. So let's get an RIP Fern and get out of here. RIP
R.I.P. Fern.
Fern.